Hello and welcome to 3D Dice. I am Celeste Bloodrain, and today is the finale of our The Mountain Witch 3-shot campaign. I have with me again my lovely cast of streamers, and we have just made it to the gates of the Mountain Witch's fortress. On the back, literally, of his second in command and the snow spirit of the mountain, and slew her. So that's where we're going to pick up. But before we do, I'd like to go around and have everyone introduce themselves, a little bit about their character, the important story beats so far that people need to know to catch up if they missed last time, and then we'll get into it. So as I've always been doing, 10 Rabbit Bears, you're first.
Cool. Yeah. So I am 10 Rabbit Bears. I do a lot of some variety streaming, couch games, things like that, but I also do tabletop and my own system, Sorcery and Steel, as well as like some. This is actually the second. I think it's the second day in a row I'm wearing an Extra Life T-shirt, which keeps reminding me. I also do like Extra Life stuff. And I am playing Finnegan, or Finn, who echolocation, so you can still kind of see very Daredevil-esque. And then he can also manipulate sound around him. He can isolate frequencies and amplify them, make them quieter, do all kinds of cool stuff with that. Wow, there's so much to cover because so much has happened only in 2 days. I'm sorry.
Right?
I'm like trying to pick and choose, so I don't like also like just like give a complete recap. I'm like trying to think of what's important to him. So we were traveling to take out the witch at the top of the mountain there, and we found a girl alone in the woods. Her sister was taken by some of the witch's people. We tracked them down, found her. Now they're together and off with their family in the next town. There's been ghosts. And then, one of the players, who shall remain nameless, has like definitely been skeptical of me most of the time, and vice versa. I'll let him talk about that when that comes up. But I don't know. We're gonna see where that goes tonight. And yeah, he's really kind of nervous about tonight actually, but excited. As am I. I'm gonna leave it there.
Nice. Grimbeard, how about you go next?
So my name is Grimbeard Adventures. I am playing Soren, the Black Flame Dragon Turtle. He is a neutral evil character that's kind of got, I think, a little bit of a soft side that the guys here have discovered along the way. He wasn't really expecting to be hired and sent up the mountain with those that he thought were beneath him, but he also wasn't expecting to be standing kind of amongst his equals by the time we got up here. He's been kind of the hot-headed one of the group, handled along with Tobor a lot of adversaries and kind of made sure that there would be none following us. But yeah, no, same. I am anxious and excited about tonight's game.
Nice. How about you, Rebel Aviator? Why don't you introduce yourself? And Tobor.
Again, second verse, same as the first. I'm Rebel Aviator. None of that has changed. Still veteran, still nerd. Love being here and learning more about other tabletops as well. It's been a great time. Tonight I am still playing Tobor the Empathetic, a Warforged monk. And to kind of recap what's been going on, as we started this campaign, he was very pacifist style. He has kind of shown that where pacifism and his I guess you could say that his passions mix. If people mix with his passions, it would he would definitely choose the more violent route only as a means of necessity. In the last encounter we had, obviously having the black flame instilled into his processing cores, even he's become more cold and calculated with how he uses this power. And it seemed to ruffle a lot of feathers, especially Soren. But there is definitely something going on there. The reason why, and we'll find out tonight when we get the witch.
Nice. And GrimQuest, how about you?
Hi, I'm GroomQuest. I run some D&D tabletop RPGs and play RPG games. I played Dorian Farn, who somehow is still alive at this point in time. So I'm super excited to see everybody's fates revealed in the Fortress of the Witch, see what's going to happen, and I will be surprised if one of us, maybe two of us, get out of this alive. I am predicting that probably half the party will be dead by the time we wrap this all up.
Yeah.
Probably, and hopefully one witch. So before we move on to actually playing, I would like to
wish you a happy birthday.
Well, wish me a happy birthday. Yes, today is my birthday. This is my birthday celebration, and thank you all for participating.
Sorry.
It might be silly, but this is what this has been amazing for me. I also like to draw attention to my goals. I put up a little goal widget. Number 1, 100 followers. We talked about that last night. Number 2, I've been trying to get Patreon supporters to help 3D Dice purchase some international infrastructure. You can see it down at the bottom. Let me get the link over here in the chat, so you can go support us over there on Patreon. We get the $500 worth of donations per month. We're able to expand to servers in more than one region, and that will improve the performance for everybody, but mostly people not in the United States, so they count too. So on to the game.
Yeah. No dilly-dally.
No dilly-dally. So here we are. To repeat the quick recap, we are at the gates of the Witch's Fortress. We have defeated Ona, the Winter Snow Spirit, who Dorian seemed to be trying to bargain with to get an audience with the witch, but at the last minute crashed her into the ground. She was flying them up in basically a snowstorm to get to the witch's castle. Here we are. How would you like to approach finding the witch, or whatever your actual goal is?
Tobor will walk up to the door, knock on the door within a certain pattern that's only known to him, and then the door creaks open.
I called it.
He called it? You don't even know what the hell we're doing yet.
No, I got wheels are turning. Wheels are turning.
Well, they will be turning as the door creaks open. Tobor turns around and says, "The final objective is ahead. Let us not waste time."
He's beckoning you all in.
Are you the witch?
What?
Who said that?
I don't know.
Was that in character or out?
That was in character, but he's like, what? No, I didn't say anything.
In character, are you a wizard?
It's just Robbie Coltrane comes out of the snow. You're a wizard, Harry. That's what Tobor.
Yeah, Soren's actually he's kind of stand his ground a little bit and say, "Hold it there, mate. I believe you owe some modicum of an explanation here. How is it you're so able to open those doors?
And what means to what end?
The means to the grand design. Also, it's a door. It opens and closes. I don't see if there's any more further explanation for simple mechanics.
Yeah, but how'd you know the knocks? I mean, they were solid, like, I don't know, like B4s or something. But like, how did you know?
Trial, testing, seems to work out. I had about an 80% probability that one certain pattern of knocks would work. It was in my favor.
All this questioning's really getting us nowhere. We have an objective inside. So he opened the door. We just skyrocket to the ground. We're here. We either complete all of our tasks or we turn back. And I'm pushing forward. And Dorian's gonna go through the door.
Yeah, Soren will look at Finnegan and say, it's time to separate the dragons from the drakes. You in?
I guess, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, so you enter through the front gate of the castle, or fortress, I
It was a
should say.
mimic.
Say again?
Yeah.
Oh, nothing. The door was a
Okay.
mimic.
Okay, the door is a man. It is not. But inside the door, you are adventurers, you are familiar with fortresses. They usually have some sort of choke point to keep invaders from coming in, or to waylay them so they can be shot at from above. And this fortress is no different, except along the walls of this circuitous path to get from the outside to the inn, there are images along the walls. They are moving, they are acting out scenes from your lives. What do you see along the walls?
Tobor would look at certain ones, obviously the ones of him training and fighting alongside his master. He would get to the one where it shows the death of his master, and he would take the painting off, turn it around, and place it back on the reverse side, so all you see is the back of the canvas.
Now, I have a question about this
Yes.
setup. Sorry. Is it separate to kind of, his thing just kind of brought a point to my brain. Is it the same paintings, but we're all just seeing different things in them? Or is there actually like separate paintings for each of us?
There's actually separate paintings for each of you.
Can we see the frames on the paintings, or is it just completely only like private? So like, are there physical objects that are manifesting these visions?
There are physical
Individually?
objects that are manifesting these visions, and you can see the other visions.
Oh, okay.
Finnegan's, for himself and anybody else who would see them, would show a couple moments from his life, mostly as a pup, and then kind of saying goodbye to his parents, and then them not coming back as he's patiently waiting and by himself for a very long time until somebody else comes into the fray. And then he, like, there's a couple paintings of him packing up his belongings into like a small chest and then arriving at a farm. And then just being alone in a field.
Soren sees a younger dragon turtle as he was full of piss and vinegar, just taking what he wanted, laying waste to enemy armies until one day he comes across a vision of the first and only time that he was bested in single combat. A tall, striking golden dragonborn offered a challenge and ended up kind of rubbing his face in the mud a little bit. And he was enamored. And then it flashes forward to the day that he lost her, when she was tricked and taken in by 3 hags. It flashes forward to a scene when a downtrodden, angry, furious Soren lays waste to an entire village, clutching the last thing that he had of Gorba, which was the pendant.
I thought I recognized that name.
I thought you would.
Yep.
You see you see a small Dorian in the city streets stealing coin and then getting captured by a group of ruffians. Time passes very quickly as he keeps growing, and the group of ruffians that captured him are now working beside him. And then one day you see him talking with these ruffians, now older, much larger of a group, making a plan. You see a nobleman, a very well-down businessman traveling along the road, and Dorian chasing off that group of bandits. He picture fades him meeting up with those bandits again, giving him all the coin, being lifted amongst all the people in a city, being rejoiced as a hero, but all the time leading the bandits more into the city, and a city being ravaged once again once he leaves. And then you see, as the painting's about to wind down, those bandits meeting him once again and giving him a piece of paper with a seal of the skull and a compass upon it.
Okay. So
This is very enlightening for all of you, except Finn can't see any of it.
Yeah. Does it give off weird vibes for you, at least? Like,
I would imagine, yeah. It's magic. I would imagine.
There's a spell to speech playing for those hard of seeing.
Hands him a small Walkman with a cassette in it.
When you go in, there's a couple of them on the side table right there when you walk inside.
The voice you're now hearing is Richard Kiley. Spared no expense.
Self-guided audio tour.
Love it.
So you make it through the entryway into the open courtyard central area of the fortress. I don't know my fortress terminology. You'll have to all forgive me. And in the courtyard, there is a large ogre, clearly in the employ of the witch, slightly drunk, seems rather upset, eating a large
cheeseburger.
Not a cheeseburger. Piece of meat.
Chicken patty.
Sure, chicken patty. Not noticing you. Clearly his job is to be a protector of some sort, but he's too involved with his food.
Seems like hardly a fight for you, Soren. He doesn't even care.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
I'm saying it wouldn't be a good time. He's not going to be much he's not taking it seriously. Is it worth it?
So you're saying I should get his attention first?
I mean, if you want.
If you wish, we could go around. We don't need to go into this headlong.
Soren's really struggling with that.
I knew he would. That's why I didn't bother suggesting it.
If the target is your witch, then we can go quicker to the witch. This is just a hindrance before we arrive.
Tobor is walking towards the ogre, and since the ogre's kind of like preoccupied, slightly inebriated, he looks up at the ogre and taps him on the shoulder. Says, there, eat your fill. We shall see you soon in the grand design, and walks around him, continuing forward.
It's just me, or is Tobor kind of freaking anyone else out?
Speaking the ogre out,
Hmm?
the ogre gives you a blank stare. Did you want something to drink? Where did you come from? And he looks around left and right, finally noticing the rest of the party members. Oh, you, stop. I'm supposed to protect the door.
You are.
You're doing a wonderful job, sir.
We're here to fix it. And by protecting us, you're protecting it.
Are you trying to convince the ogre to be on your team? I like this. Okay.
I was trying to figure out a way to do that, so I'm really glad that you did.
Okay, so Dorian rolls for will the ogre join them? The ogre thinks he should go back to doing his job, and is slightly embarrassed. So he will roll against you. His goal is to stay put and
Fight us.
fight you. You ready?
I am.
Let's go. Ooh, ogre got a
Do it.
5.
Stop rolling hot.
4.
I
Okay.
know, rigged. Hashtag rigged.
Partial success. Okay.
Rolling nothing but 5 and 6
So-
is last one. Now rolling all
I know.
5s again.
Well,
Gonna be a
okay.
good night, guys.
Well,
Yep.
if you're supposed to be fixing the door, get on with it then, and leave me to my drink. I've had such the day. And the ogre just sits back down, leaves you alone. And as you, I presume you're gonna continue across the courtyard. As you make it towards the center, you hear a large explosion from far away, and the ground shakes. You can see a plume of smoke rising up from further down the mountain, but not far enough down that it's from Baywitch. And there is a second plume of something that's not smoke, but still dark and inky black, and you see it rising up into the sky and filling the sky and blotting out the sun. It goes from day to night instantaneously. You can feel an evil, shadowy presence filling the air and coming closer to the witch's fortress. And Finn, you hear a bell. You hear the bell coming from deeper within the fortress.
The girls are here. I can hear the bell that they stole from me.
Dorian's seeing all of this and knowing what this is leading up to. He runs up to the gate. Is it locked?
In this, you decide if it's locked, unless
All right.
Tobor wants to decide it's not locked because he knows what's going on with the door, and then I'll make you guys roll off.
Yeah.
Dorian. Yes.
Tobor, is it locked? Are you okay with it?
Because if it's from the courtyard, this would be to like the central like tower. This would be locked.
Dorian's seen a small crack in the door, like where there's a notch digged out, because holds his breath and runs through the notch in the door. And he knows he has split seconds until Soren or Tobor opens his door, and he lays out this piece of paper with his teleportation circle on top of it, sprays out his blood, takes the token of the skull and compass, lays it down on the ground, and summons his boss. All right, about your time. If you want our power, you go take it. I'll try and hold these guys off.
Ooh.
So who's the boss?
We don't know yet. Okay, so what are you doing, Dory? Are you going back out to lay the party? And what are the rest of you doing when you see Dorian disappear into the door? Literally, into the door.
He's leaving us behind again.
He's leaving you behind.
Finn is going to try and find the resonant frequency of the door and blow it to bits, because that's what happens when you match resonant frequencies.
Ooh. Okay, Finn wants to break the door open. Dorian, do you want to resist this on behalf of the door, or shall the door resist for itself?
Dorian, looking through the small crack of the door, sees what Finnegan is doing, and he needs to buy a little bit of time, so he's going to use his power of the word of paranoia to freak Finnegan out with words, thinking that either Soren or Tobor are about to attack him, so he will face off trying to buy as much time for his allies to do their job before these all show up.
Okay. Anyone wanting to help
Joke's
open
on
the door?
him. Echolocation. I know where they are.
All
And
right.
I will use 2 points of trust to betray him.
Nice.
Wow.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom. All right, let's see it.
Well, that's a 3.
That's a 1.
That's
neg-
hold on. I'm so
negative.
confused. I saw the 6. It threw me off. Because it was my die, but it was.
I'm rolling against you with your own die.
I know it really threw me off. I was super
Just
confused.
like you were supposed to. Voice of paranoia.
Yep.
All right. RuneQuest, go for it. What happens? You're
So
up.
that's a double success,
That's
right?
a double success. You could kill him.
So, I don't want to do that. First off, what he does is he sees, like, he's on the ground looking through the crack in the door that he ran through. So he sees Finnegan starting to do his vibration, and as he does it, he goes, "It all leads to this. It can all be yours, but these two will get in your way." And he will turn, and it's up to you who you least trust, Finnegan, as you take your vibration and turn it towards one of those two. And it will go past one of them and break the locking mechanism in the door. And that's my second success.
Okay, so you break the locking mechanism in the door. The first success was wounding someone who's not Finnegan.
The first success was succeeding in making him redirect
Okay.
the attack so it doesn't blow up the door. The
Okay.
second success is that it actually has, like, made the door more impassable as he's messed up the vibration, the lock through his vibrations.
Okay. Ooh.
And Dorian runs away.
Do you want to be more specific about runs away? Deeper into...
He's going to run into the room, try and find a hiding spot, and then follow all of these individuals as they push forward. He wants to make it so they don't see him when
Okay.
they go into the next room, so he can follow them.
Okay. Soren, Finnegan,
Soren's-
Tobor.
Actually, yeah. If you want to finish that, that was your scene. If you
Yeah, I
want
was
to
gonna say. After that happens, he looks around. Did one of you just? No. Damn it, Dorian.
Soren is going to erupt in rage. Worthless rat! And his entire body is going to be cloaked in an aura of black flame as he rushes forward to try to smash his shell through that door.
So Tobor is he's not surprised. This was all part of the grand design. He knew that the small cowardice one would betray inevitably soon. He was hoping it would have been sooner rather than later, when we were so close to our ultimate goal. But Tobor goes on to calculate what his next move is, and begins searching around for another way in. Since this is a centralized tower, there's more than one way into another door or another tower.
The picture there, is that the door we're in front of?
No, that's the
Or
door
is that the
you,
outer gate?
That's the outer gate. That's the original door
Okay.
you came through. Yeah.
Cool. Just double checking.
Yeah, but also this is a feeling picture. You can
Right.
Yeah, narrate into existence what you need. So Tobor, you're skirting around the outsides of the central tower.
Mhm.
Are you trying to be out of sight of
No.
Soren? You
No.
can't get out of sight of Finnegan. You're already out of sight of Finnegan.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not without earshot, obviously,
No.
echolocation and such. But no, I'm. It's pretty obvious that I'm, looking around. I'm no hint of malice or anything. Just cold and calculated, walking around the outskirts, looking for the other door that should lead into the entrance of the central tower.
Okay.
Soren's got tunnel vision right now, so if
Soren
you
wants
guys
to break
were
the door
trying to
down.
avoid-
Okay. So I'll ask you again, Dorian. Do you want to roll for keeping the door closed, or shall the door roll for itself?
George's gonna roll for himself because he is hiding. He knows Soren's coming through that door sooner
Okay.
or later, and he does not want to be near it when it does. He is
Okay.
in the corner, hiding in the shadows.
Okay.
Finnegan is trying to follow his very annoying heartbeat.
Okay. So Finnegan, are you assisting with or without
Yes.
trust? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
Door gets a 3.
I got a 6.
And a 5.
Ooh, 11. You're up at 8.
Does that mean I can kill the door?
You could kill the door.
I shall slay the door.
But
Yep,
you
I
get a
saw that
double
coming.
success. You get to smash through the door, and you get another full-on success.
Okay. So this aura of black flame erupts like a crimson and raging cloak around Soren, and he bursts forward in a line, traveling way faster than he should be able to. Pivots at the last second and smashes through the door, covering or spreading busted iron and broken splinters all throughout the room, behind the door. And when he lands, let's say 5 feet past the door, the cloak around him bursts and fills the room with an outwardly expanding, not quite an explosion, but kind of like a backdraft of black flame that will catch Dorian if he's still in that room. I don't know if he's hiding. I think he would still be somewhere in that room.
Well, that's where the other success could come in. Finnegan was hunting him down if you want to tie that in. What, using echolocation?
That's true. All right, yeah. So I'll tell you what.
He can
I'll
point
just,
you
I'll,
in the direction.
I'll take the first success, and if you want the second success to be like triangulation because of like all that noise that I just made in that room has now like
There's all kinds of vibrations going on now. That's just helping me pinpoint and see the room clearer.
okay. So I'll take that.
Yeah, Finnegan hears that very familiar heartbeat he's been keeping track of this entire adventure so far, and knows where Dorian is.
Okay. And Finn, you hear the bell ring again. And the black, inky darkness is almost like descending down upon the fortress. And you can see
I
it
feel like that's a problem.
snaking its way into the central tower as if it's trying to find something in there. And coming up through the ground and grabbing onto the ogre.
That wasn't his chicken patty, was it?
All right.
Um,
Dorian, Finn, Soren, how are you going to resolve this hiding thing? And Tobor, how are you getting into the tower?
Tobor would find the second entrance around the backside of it. Go up to the lock. This one is just like a hanging like little master lock. Go up to it, and since it's cold out, he's going to channel a little bit of the black flame into the lock and melt the lock in his hand and open the door. And look at his hand and says, "Remarkable. This shall prove useful soon." And opens the door and sees all the calamity within inside. And he's just like, intriguing. But he'll stand at the door, calculating his next move.
Finn walking into this inner chamber behind Soren, having busted open the door. He's menacing. He is. Yes.
I could hear the voice.
I found the back door.
This will be useful soon. That's what I've never been more afraid of Tobor.
Hi.
Finn kind of walking in the room very calmly after Soren just like raged through that door, ears locked on Dorian's location. Sorry, I'm wording in my brain. He says loud enough that he's pretty confident Dorian would hear. Like a compass needle pointing north, the echoes of your betrayal direct our blade to you. And he points wherever his hiding spot is. I'll let you decide what it was that you were hiding in. He points at it, goes, Soren, that's where he is.
Smash.
Soren smash.
So you say your since your flames consume, right, and your flames were directed towards me, I would imagine that you're, unless I'm wrong on this perimeter,
So they
right?
so they're not like, so they don't just immediately like burn through whatever they're in, but they don't have like sustain, so they won't make like a campfire that you can cook over, because it'll just consume whatever fuel you're using. It'll end up ruining whatever you're trying to cook. So it's not an instantaneous thing. So that dispersal of that aura, originally for the double success, I was going to have do more damage in the room. Like it was probably going to maybe inflict a wound, but I gave the double success to Finnegan. So more so, it just kicked up a lot more refuse. Like it singed and blackened everything that was facing me once I entered the room, and that aura dispersed. So if you were behind something, actually you were hiding behind something, so you were able to avoid the majority of that damage. So there's still stuff in the room. It's not like, it doesn't just dissolve like cartoon acid.
Dorian knows with Finnegan in the room with you, he was hoping Finnegan may have went the other way. He knows he's out of time, and he just goes in the middle of the room, far enough away from Soren that he can't grab him. First, it was Tumbar City. Then it was Luminous. And now it is the Witch of the Mountain. My lord, my boss, my handler will rule all sooner or later. You can get in on the ground floor and help him defeat the witch and have powers unknown. Or we can sit here and bicker and try and figure out an end to all of this. And you'll use his power to like shimmer, and then there will be two of him pulling out his blades towards Soren. He knows Finnegan figure out. He does. Soren can't right away, so it might give him a chance.
So Soren sees you keeping your distance. As he's got black flame engulfed around his hands, like he's just crouched down. Actually, just like my picture, like my avatar, just crouched down, like ready to pounce. Soren's a brilliant tactician. He knows you're keeping your distance. So he fires an almost solid bar of black flame straight through you and your image. Not through you, but between the two of you, to show you that distance doesn't matter. And his eyes glimmer just a little more, and he says, "Whom do you serve?"
The compass
I want to
of death.
hear you say it.
The compass of death. Foul Sharan.
I know of him. I know of your order.
And we knew of yours. That's why I had to hinder you this entire time.
You know that a dragon would never stop. You know this is exactly where I need to be. I've seen your spies, I've seen your missives in every town, every hovel, every village I've passed through, and every single place that I've had to burn down to nothing. You know why I'm here. Your
I know.
order knows far more than they ever should.
Yes, but one thing you should worry about is, on your quest to burn down our order, you may have inflicted this to others who may be out to get you. You shouldn't give power so quickly to those you don't fully understand.
It's just as
Enter
dangerous
Mr.
to
Popo.
him.
Aye.
Don't touch
You
Mr.
know-
Popo's things.
You know full well I've got no lasting quarrel with the Order. It just so happens that you have... Comrades have stood in my way when they shouldn't. I will not serve you. I will not stand for your master. The dragon heeds to no master. You can let us pass, or you can fall here where you stand.
I'll have you know, I am an enormous coward. And he runs away.
I knew it. Awesome. The moment he tries to run, Finnegan's gonna make him trip using, again, trying to throw off his equilibrium. So that he turns and falls flat on his face. Like, that's the goal.
Okay. Roll off. Sword, are you getting in on this?
No, honestly, Soren really doesn't. He feels no need to deal with cowards.
Okay. Let's see it.
Even if it fails, he just wants to see him fall on his face. It's a tie.
It's a tie. Roll again.
Ooh. Is that the first tie we've had?
Yeah.
I think it's
No, it's a second.
second.
Ah, you got it.
Oh, up
Nice.
3. Full success.
Full disclosure, I was kind of hoping he would get away, because if he did fall, I was going to pounce on him. Just opportunistic.
Right.
Thorn from the top rope.
I mean, because you
you'll
have to.
I literally just wanted to see him trip. That was my goal there.
You'll see that Dorian do like that. What? Like he's tripping and he's doing that like 1, 2, 3, hop. But he's probably been in these type of things many, many times. Like, rebalances himself and runs away around the corner, and he is trying to get to the chamber of the witch.
Ooh. All right.
Soren, those girls that we saved, they have the bell. They're ringing it here.
I'm sorry.
I know we have an
but
objective.
I can't. It was. I went back with you the first time, but I can't believe that they're here.
I can't either, but I'm hearing that bell. And remember, the witch wanted them before. So chances are, if we follow the bell, that's where the witch is.
Do what you must, but I can't follow you on this one.
All right, let's cut back over to Tobor for a moment. He's been out of the
Indeed.
spotlight.
So after seeing the display of power from Soren and the absolute cowardice of Dorian, which is very comical in the grand scheme, I assume that the conversation between Soren and Finn, that's said aloud, like obviously within earshot. Okay.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is it? Well, you guys can decide.
So
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
wasn't
Soren's
being
not very. Yeah,
discreet.
Soren's not very quiet.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think
Like,
I
every-
try to be
even-
pretty.
we're definitely past the point of subterfuge at this
Yeah,
point.
so even speaking quietly, it's still a low rumble.
And I try to be very clear when I'm trying to be quiet about something. If I try to, I don't always, but
Dorian's never quiet.
Tobor will come in to the middle of the room, meet with Soren and Finn, and he looks towards Soren, and he goes to say, "A dragon doesn't back down, but a dragon will always find its kill for those who it has wronged itself or wronged against the dragon. You take your lead to find the one who's wronged you, and I will assist Finn in helping him find these children. It is all part of the grand design."
It's very honorable of you, Tobor.
And,
And
what?
with a final nod to Finn and Tobor, Soren will trek deeper into the tower, presumably following Dorian. If it
Before,
looked,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
before Soren goes, he goes to say, "I have found out the way to release your gift to me, for I believe you will need it more than I do at this current time." And he goes into this nice like Tai Chi movement and releases all of the black flame through his arms into like this small ball of what he gave me before, and he just kind of holds it in this like the serene pose and says, "Thank you for your gift. You have shown me true friendship in trusting me this far." And he hands it back to Soren. His just arm extended, holding this black flame.
You're
Soren
not
will,
gonna kill Zoran? Ah!
Wait. No, let the scene end. Let the scene end.
Soren will reach out to it and kind of take it as if he's controlling its aura. And when he crushes the sphere in his hand, it doesn't quite it dissipates like fog rushing out of like a balloon, but you see that fog just absorb back into Soren's core.
And Tobor will give the graceful bow and respects and look over to Finn and say, "Let us make haste. There's no time to dally."
One last parting word for Tobor. I had to kill my master to earn the title of dragon. But if I have ever seen any other mortal wield that title more deservedly, not until now. Not until you. And he'll also do his clunkiest best to return the bow. But he's really only graceful when he's smashing.
Very true. Very true. All right.
Yeah, maybe mortal's the wrong word, but you guys get it.
I don't know. Robots can die, right? They're mortal.
I mean, they can be dismembered pretty quick, but
How many backups do you have? 2 is 1 and 1 is none, man.
Now he's
you already
Ghost in the
know.
Shell style
You
now.
already- You already know, baby.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we'll part ways there.
I guess so. Okay, so we got Finn and Tobor going into the tower. Well, Finn didn't agree to this yet.
Yeah, he's okay with this.
Okay. Hunt down the ringing bell. We got Dorian going in a different direction, deeper into the castle to try to shadow people. Still? Yep, still your plan? And Soren, where are you headed?
Once I am out of line of sight from Finn and Tobor, I'll calm down. Like the glow between the cracks of my shell will visibly kind of subside. I'll suppress black flame. I'm not really emanating any heat, and I'll start searching. I said before, Soren's got no time to chase after Dorian. Dorian may be heading deeper into the tower towards the witch, because he still has a job to do.
Mm.
Soren is looking deeper into the tower to find the witch. As he's searching up and down these corridors and looking from door to door, out arrow slits and seeing parapets up across another courtyard and even taller towers on the grounds, he's keeping an ear out for strange noises, especially if he hears Dorian's footsteps again. But Dorian is secondary.
Okay, so Soren is searching. Tobor and Finnegan, where are you going?
Following the sound of the bell.
Following the sound of the bell. Okay, so I'm going to throw something at you guys.
Love it.
Okay. So as Tobor and Finnegan, you were walking up the stairs to try to get to the second floor of the tower. And in the second floor of the tower, you come across a man sitting with large sacks of items. It looks like a traveling peddler who had traveled up the mountain to try to sell wares here at the castle. And he calls out your name, Tobor. How did you get what? I haven't seen you in forever. Tobor, who is this person and why is he in here?
He is the traveling merchant of my monastery. His name is Griffin. We always kind of thought it was weird because he just seemed to appear, and no one never knew how he appeared, almost as if he was flying on the back of a griffin. He has a little bit of feathers like stuck in his cap from griffins and stuff, so we've just called him Griffin.
Tobor, how did you get here?
By walking up the trail. I don't have means of flying yet.
Oh, that's always been your problem. But I came here to sell my wares, as you and your fellow monks have purchased many a time, but something is not right here. I need help escaping. Can you help me?
It would seem that how you got here wasn't your normal mode of transportation. I assume your griffin is not permitted on the grounds.
No, and the dark inky black in the sky is preventing me from traveling the way I normally do. I'm afraid of the ogre down in the courtyard.
Oh, he's harmless.
Yeah, he's quite harmless. Also completely, at this point in time, probably super intoxicated. So,
Well, you
he
hear a
poses-
roar
yeah,
and a banging at the foot of the tower. The dark inky black has infected the ogre, instilling him with with a rage.
Okay, now he's a problem.
I told you.
This was unforeseen, but still manageable. Should we clear the pathway for you to escape?
Please, I would be in your debt. Whatever you want from my sacks.
Finnegan, would you mind helping me with this small issue? I do not believe I have asked much of you or of these compatriots.
In the symphony of choices, each decision resonates like a note shaping the melody of our path. If we can make quick work of this, I will help.
Okay,
These
Finnegan,
parameters-
before you decide, you hear the bell ring again, and you can tell it's coming from the top floor of this tower.
Do I know roughly from the outside, because I don't know if you've predetermined this or not, do I know roughly how many floors there are to this tower?
I did not predetermine that. We'll decide that it's 4.
Sure. I love that. We're on the second floor. Okay, so yeah.
Second floor. 2 floors up.
All right, but I have one idea here. We need an express route. And he turns around and tries the same trick he tried on the door, but this time using on the stone wall, trying to find the resonant frequency of the stone to just burst it open, so that we can get in and out a little bit faster.
Okay. Okay, the
Just calling from inside.
the wall
I like
would
that.
like to stay standing.
Naturally.
I will throw a 1 trust towards Finnegan to help in this endeavor.
All right.
'Tis appreciated. Bam.
We're waiting on you, Tobor, to roll your die.
It is true. It is true. Sorry,
Okay.
zoned out.
No worries.
Been there.
Yeah, right.
It does happen.
Okay.
Double
Oh,
Oh, double
Oh,
success.
All right. What do you want to do? You want to do like you take one, I'll take another.
Yeah, I got an yeah. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yep. Yeah, we're good with that.
Okay.
So yeah, Finnegan kind of just turns and faces the wall as he's using his ability to try and find the resonant frequency and amplify the blade's hum to match it. And then as soon as he thinks he finds it, he swings the blade just in the general direction, and this like whop, 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 kind of like takes out the wall. Fortunately, that's the one that was over where the ogre was. It was kind of overlooking the area.
Mhm.
So it's a nice clean shot right down.
Okay.
And I'll leave the rest to you.
But with the kind of the I assume it's not like earth bending where you're just like making a tunnel and like
no,
yeah,
it's
so
it's
just
exploding.
So with the explosion, the rubble and debris that goes from the exit will actually go out and knock and fall upon the ogre himself.
I had the exact same thought.
Okay. The ogre takes a wound. The ogre is strong, is able.
Disabled. Okay.
You need a 4. So double success.
Okay.
Doesn't cut it.
Okay.
But now he's got a -1. You want to keep fighting the ogre?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do now.
Yep.
Well, you could give up.
No.
Okay, the ogre's
Where's the fun
goal
in that?
is to try. The ogre isn't fighting you yet. You're still a floor above. The ogre's goal is to smash his way through the locked bottom of the tower. Well, locked to him. He doesn't know you opened the other side.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Ogre rolls. Ogre gets a 1.
Okay.
Actually, Ogre gets a 0, doesn't he?
Ogre gets a
Yeah,
0.
'cause he's wounded.
Yes, because he's wounded.
So thank you. Rim.
We could see the ogre from where we're at, right?
Yeah. Wait, so you guys
Yeah.
got to roll.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
fine.
okay. Yeah, okay.
That's
could
where
roll
that's where I
bad.
was just trying to remember, like, in my head, I'm placing like a
Yeah, yeah.
map of where it's at. All right. 2
Okay,
and a
who's
5.
spending the trust? Finnegan or Tobor?
I'll spend it this time. He did the last
Okay.
one.
All right. So 7, you're up 8. You're up 7, sorry.
That's a double success.
Double
and
success.
that's definitely what we needed to,
Right.
you know.
Takes a
kill the-
success and a half to kill the ogre. You can have another half partial success if you want.
Okay.
How does it go down?
As this ogre is attempting to bash his way in and try to shake us from where we are, I would stand upon the edge there and look down upon him, and my prayer beads, I would actually start pulling them off and activating them with like certain energies and just start sending them down in like pellet or like in bullet forms, and just pelting the head of this ogre with prayer beads.
So
And that would be-
that's taking somebody out with thoughts and prayers.
literally quite literally.
Nice. Okay, let's cut back over to do you want to finish the conversation with Griffin? And then we'll cut over to Soren or
yeah.
Dorian?
So this was a success and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, so the half, if you don't mind, Finn, I'll take this one.
Yeah, go for it.
So with helping Finn escape, or like clearing the path for him, the main trouble being the ogre to get out, he looks over to Griff and he says, "You have something that you've been working on, correct? May I look through your wares?"
Yes, that was the deal. You've cleared the way. Have whatever you want from my bags.
So he goes to ruffle through the pack, and he finds a pair of winged boots with Griffin wings on the boots. These would be like boots of flying. Not like super long travel, but enough to like leap up high and like move your distance, within certain footage. So since we know that we're going up, we can use these abilities, this unique item, to travel upwards without any real problem. So, and we can hover as well. So that is the half, is finding the other item.
Yeah.
Tobor, I think you
Hey.
should have those. Also, yes, welcome Raiders.
Yes. Thank you, Dirty Rollers, for coming to raid us. You're coming just at the right time. We haven't confronted the witch yet. But might someone want to give a little bit of a recap? Maybe we take a little pause about
Let's
what's
take a little
gone on
I
to
think
catch up the
Dorian
Dirty
should.
Rollers.
Yeah, Dorian, you want to recap this for us, bud?
Let me get the fates up.
That's fine. So Tobor knew a secret knock in getting into the fortress, which Dorian was super happy that he did it because it means he didn't have to do it. And when they got inside, they met an ogre who was having a chicken sandwich, and we got past him, but were met by a large door. Dorian snuck past the door. Actually, retrack. We saw everybody's past, which was actually really cool to see in the paintings of where everybody was, and it really helped kind of solidify fates, I think, which was really cool. And as you push forward, we met a door. Dorian went really small, snuck under the door, let open a teleportation circle, let all the ruffians inside, his cult inside, to kill the witch, and has been trying to hold off the group from reaching the witch. So currently, Soren and Dorian are playing a little game of cat and mouse going through the fortress, and Tobor and Finnegan are up in the tower saving their old merchant friend Griffin from a corrupted ogre, as this cycle of almost like Icar in death is now approaching and assaulting the castle that we are currently in. So it's a rush of for time right now.
Yep.
That was a very good recap.
Yeah, it really was.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a
so-
point of inspiration that does not affect this game in whatsoever. And then
Damn it, I need it against Soren. I need those inspiration points against Soren.
unfortunately, it's like D&D inspiration, so like it doesn't apply here. That's sorry.
Right.
The exchange rate's just not so good.
It's worth 1/4% of a trust.
Yep.
There we go.
All right. So again, thanks for the raid. Let's. Oh, okay. So it's not going to be Dorian. Who wants to? I guess that's Soren. What's up on
Yeah.
your mind? Where you're searching room to room?
So not necessarily searching room to room, because like
Okay.
I've Soren in his violent days has stormed castles before. Like most layouts are the same. Most layouts are predictable. Granted, this is the witch's fortress, so like there could be tricks at every turn, but architecture is architecture, and if a door or a wall stands in my way, then I'll blast through it. But what I'm really doing is trying to kind of hear the group of assassins as they kind of spread throughout the tower, and I'm trying to find my own way to beat them to the witch. And as I'm tearing through these halls, like occasionally one or two will cross my path.
And what do you do about it?
I tear through them. These ones don't run as they should, like Dorian did. They weren't necessarily predicting an opponent, like, or they probably see me and assume that I'm part of the witch's defenses and will try to attack me.
Okay. You wanna play out a fight scene?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. How many? I'll say you fight two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You want to roll off? We got a 4.
Before, okay.
Oh,
Nope.
oh.
My bad.
What are you doing?
Well, before, because his whole goal is to stop Soren, because Soren is the opposition to his group. He will be standing behind the two individuals. He'll come slink down from the rafters, and all of a sudden he will unbrandish the silver chain from his hand of the pendant, and will wave it back and forth in front of Soren to distract him. And I will use -4 on his roll of trust, and then he will take off again down the hall.
Ah, damn.
Because he's trying to get Soren riled up, because he knows that when Soren is focused and calm, he's good. When he's riled up, he makes mistakes.
Okay.
I don't know. I destroyed the hell out of that door when I was riled up. It's a bold
Okay,
move, Cotton.
So
Yeah, but you didn't know what you were going to destroy everything at the same time.
Yep, that's true.
I've got a 4. You now have a 2.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me a mixed success. Okay. So I'm just gonna be basic. I will deal a wound to you and take a wound on the what are these guys? How would I describe them, Dorian? Or
Bandits?
Bandits. Targets.
Yeah, they look like
guards.
black leathered with the compass and the skull on them. Kind of like bandits, a little cultish at the same time, but mostly bandish like.
Okay. So we each take a wound. Do you want to keep fighting?
Yep. It's.
Should
kinda
I
the way
even
wrote
have
the character.
asked?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I kind of wrote myself. I painted myself into a corner there. Yeah. So Soren wasn't necessarily like in his rage at seeing that pendant dangling from Dorian's fingers. Was not expecting. To
And
be,
Dorian
wounded
would
as
like
such.
to assist the bandits one more round, so I will roll against him with the bandits
Okay.
by taunting him. Oh, your group has gotten so small since the trap we laid 3 towns over. So many lost.
Okay, let's go. Soren, you have trust that you can spend to betray Dorian. It's only 1, but it's
Yeah, I might do that.
okay.
So I roll, and then we subtract that.
Yeah. So our side has a 4. It's 5
Okay.
minus 1. You have a 3.
I've got a 3.
So I
Oh
got
no, I've got a 2. I think because I have a wound.
2. Well, I also have a wound, so that's another -1.
Okay.
So that's 2. Mixed success for me again. Okay.
I don't think I have the point to betray Dorian, do I?
Oh no, I subtracted it. You did have it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the bandits, they really don't want to fight you. They're here to fight the witch. So their success is that they're going to escape. That you're so distracted with the fight, you're so distracted with Dorian that they get away. So that's going to be their success, and the success for you. Ooh, can I just hand it over? The thing that I want to do might be not nice, but I would put
Do
a
it.
wound on Dorian. Yeah, you okay with that? You can
Are you
detail.
you're gonna inflict a wound on Dorian?
Yeah. That's your partial success. Dorian, you okay? Grim, you okay with that? Or I'll come up with something else. You can veto. Yeah?
Give me all the wounds. I've been
Okay.
stabbing myself this entire game.
Okay, Dorian takes the wound.
I've got a partial success, right? So
Well, that's your partial, that Dorian takes the wound. And
Can I talk to him instead?
you could talk to him instead, yeah?
So let's say the wound that I took just kind of temporarily like hamstrung me, and as I drop down to one knee and Dorian starts to flee with his assassins, I yell out, "Gambler, gambler, wait!" And when he keeps running, I get his attention by trying to retract as much flame as possible. Wait. You can have her when I'm finished with her. You can have him when I'm finished with him. I don't like it. I certainly don't like those that you serve. But let me speak with him first.
Dorian sees a means to an end. He's done his job here. And he will start walking slower and making sure that Dorian can see make sure Soren can see where he's going, helping lead him through the castle.
All right. Okay, so Finn and Tobor. Well, let me say this, right? We're almost at the 1.5 hour mark. Are you all ready to confront the witch, or do you have other unfinished business you need to attend to?
I got the bell. Unless that is the witch, in which case.
Yeah, I'm good with either outcome, honestly. My main thing was to help Finn with the bells, and we helped one of my guys, so it's only fair that I would help him with the bells.
Okay. Continue with the bell.
He can make an express route if he needs to.
Very true.
That's true.
Which is actually what his next move is going to be.
To the bell.
Yep.
Yeah, so kind of to your with this new item that you have, he kind of like tilts towards you, Tobor, and strap them on. I'm making a path. And he like thinks about it for a second and then kind of takes a step back and then tries to make a hole above where he was standing, but he has since stepped back, so he's not going to get debris all over him.
All right.
And he, instead of going around the tower and going up all these stairs, he's just going to try and go through each floor using the same technique.
Okay.
So
So you're gonna fly up through the floor.
Well, he's going to try and break it first.
Oh, break it first and then fly through the floor. You're not
Yeah.
gonna do them at the same
And then-
time, like super
Not at the same
dramatic,
time.
like, oh,
No.
okay.
I mean, I don't think he could. He probably could do both at the same time. You know what? Screw it. Yeah, he'll try and do both at the same time. Why not? Go big or go home, right?
It's because this game, it doesn't get more difficult.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
The floor gets a 2.
I get a 4.
Mixed success. You can do it and take a wound. You can get kind of what you want, but you get what you want, but the floor kind of get what it wants, which I don't know what that would look like other than a wound.
So I feel like, okay, I have an idea. You can tell me if this is enough.
Okay.
So Finnegan manages to kind of like blast a hole through there so he can get up and onto the next floor. But the hole is about a fox person sized.
Ooh. So
And
Tobor
Tobor will
can't
have
come
a
through.
much harder time getting through.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
That's 6. I like that.
All right. Okay, so Finn, you get to the top floor. And standing there in the dark with the inky black is the witch holding
I
the
knew
bell. Of course you did. It had to be. He lets the bell go and it disappears into a puff of magical smoke. You've been trying to find the children, but you haven't been trying to find me. And he stares deeply at you, and you see the ichor coming in through the ceiling of the top floor of the tower and enveloping him and coming into him as if it's empowering his magic. And the longer you delay, the stronger he grows.
In a labyrinth of uncertainty, determination becomes the echo that lights the way. And Finn is going to like mega do the same trick that he's been doing and try and just blow up the whole top floor of this tower.
Okay, you're just...
Feel like that will tell everybody where he is, where the witch is, and maybe deal some damage to the witch at the same time, maybe.
Okay.
Also, he's like super uncomfortable right now.
Okay.
It's like,
So I'm going to
shit.
paint the scene. So Soren
Yeah.
and Dorian, you are following the bandits on their search for the witch. You are up now on top of one of the side walls that has a gangway across to the top floor of the tower. Tobor, you are down at the bottom of the tower looking up at this not quite Warforged size hole that Finn has flown through with the boots.
Yep.
And Finn, you are going to try to blow a hole through the wall again. Okay.
Kind of like the top of the tower.
Okay.
Like-
So the witch and the walls will oppose you in this one.
Naturally.
All right.
I doubt my success will be high enough.
Oh, 6.
I got 3.
The witch gets a full success.
Yep.
So let me think for so the witch, you collect your sound energy and project it out towards the walls and to the witch, and the witch laughs. It will take much more than that to defeat me and the shadow magics that I have unleashed. And the ichor reaches out from his body. He doesn't even move his arms, and it forms a barrier around you, collects the sound energy, and dampens it.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is a loud sound. Soren and Dorian, you hear a large boom that suddenly goes quiet from within the top floor of the tower, and the bandits you are with are streaming across the gangway. Okay, let's move to Tobor.
Mhm.
Yeah, you hear the loud sound too. You saw Finn go up the hole.
Mhm.
What is your goal now?
So my goal is to since I gave him the boots to, obviously.
Oh no, he can propel himself. You have the boots, he said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you
So
have the
you
boots.
propelled yourself. Okay, so I still have the
Yeah.
boots. So what I'll do is I'll look up. After hearing that, I would know my trajectory, and I will fly up through and try to punch a hole through the fox size hole to make it like Warforged size hole. So I guess I'll have to roll off against the floor. So
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Tobor versus the floor.
yep.
It's a foxhole. That like, how did I not just say that? Sorry.
You were so on point for everything else. So
I know.
So Tobor, you mixed success. You
Yep.
can get through the floor, but take a wound, for example, or some other
Yeah,
thing for
I'll
the
just I'll punch through and I'll take a wound, kind of like scraping like through my like I punch through, but the bit of the board actually like cuts through part of my ocular region. So the where my right eye would be was actually damaged, so it's actually put out.
Ooh, I like it. Okay, Soren and
Don't get me
Dorian.
started.
If I still have Dorian's attention, when we hear that boom and we hear that, like, the whole commotion going down in the tower, Black Flame will flare brighter, and, Gambler, gather your men, hold them back until you get my signal. He's all yours.
Dorian sees the others heading like the opposite way. He's not going to call out for them, but he's going to leave breadcrumbs and follow in Soren. He can't catch Soren. Soren's far faster than him. But he's not going to warn the bandits in the direction they're going, but he's going to leave breadcrumbs.
Okay. So, am I to take it that you don't want the bandits to crash the witch party?
Yeah, not right away.
Okay, well, as they are your bandits, you will decide when they crash the party, like Grimbeard decided when Steve showed up.
I don't want to control. Like, here's the thing: I don't want to steal this, so they're your bandits now.
Okay,
DM.
they're my bandits
you
now.
do with them you want to do now, right? Because
Okay.
I'm not the gang leader. I'm just another peasant. So when they show up, would be up to the gang leader, not me.
Okay. So, fair enough. Okay, so who is all in on the fourth floor with the witch? We got Tobor, we got Finnegan, Soren, and Dorian. Are you showing up in a beat, or are you gonna be there with everyone right away?
I'll say I'll be there after one round of rolling.
Okay, Soren, you make your entrance.
So using that burning cloak again, which makes me move way faster for my size than I should be able to. I kind of burst in through the doors, leaping, and just disperse that cloak again, but not quite as explosively. Like, it definitely dissipates and knocks some things back, but it's not going to deal any damage, because knowing that, or assuming that Finnegan and Tobor are in there. I just saw 10 rabbit bears. When I enter the room, I see the witch kind of hovering slightly off the ground, just emanating that evil essence, that kind of black ichor just seeping out from his very being. Tobor and Finnegan obviously kind of recovering from some kind of assault or attempt on the witch. And Soren is going to turn to Finnegan and Tobor, and with a sweep of his hand, just throw up a wall of black flame between them and me and the witch. And if I have to, I will spend all of my points to prevent anybody from stopping me from what I'm about to do.
Okay. So who may be stopping you?
Oh, Andrew, you're muted.
Yeah.
Finnegan is gonna kind of stop and see how this plays out for a second. He's gonna kind of take a step back, but he does draw the blade, and he kind of gives Soren a look, well, a tilt, and almost like in a moment of understanding, love is a symphony of composed echoes that bridge the spaces between hearts. Grief is a somber echo.
It's not grief
You
that
don't have a
drives me,
lifetime.
Finn, but hope. And as that wall of black flame flares brighter, Soren kneels before the witch. Great witch of the mountain, I seek of you, I beg of you a boon. Rid me of this black flame that burns me from inside. Like a candle beneath a mountain, I have greatly shortened my life. I thought all was lost 7 years ago when Gorba was taken, but she was unexpectedly returned to me, and I find that my life has so very little remaining, and I would like to spend that time with her. And in return, I offer you the power of a black flame dragon. Rid me of this power so that I may spend my days with my Gorba.
I will offer you this bargain. Give me the black flame that you can now, and keep me safe from those who have come to slay me. And when it is all done, I will remove the remainder of the black flame from you. Do you accept this bargain?
Soren looks, and not quite hiding in the shadows outside of a window, Dorian is standing there. And he hasn't quite hidden that pendant. He sees it just hanging out of Dorian's pocket. So be it.
So,
I will... Oh, go ahead.
Come on.
No, actually, you know what? I lost my own steam. I don't know what I was going to say there. I was going to paint myself into a corner
Well,
again.
the witch wants you to share the black flame like you did with Tobor right now.
Yep.
Bestow upon me the gift so that I may be stronger and we may be stronger together.
I want to spend a trust to interrupt.
Okay.
Or is it steal the narrative, right?
Steal-
That's what it is.
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
So
You
Finn
don't have any
hearing-
more trust with Soren.
Oh, I don't. That's right. Never mind.
Oh.
I actually will steal the narration from Soren.
Oh.
All right.
Go for it.
So before he goes into that, he's heard the entire side of Soren's tragic stories, and he goes over close to Soren and says, "A black dragon never backs down, yet so easily you are here to give away that which gives you such power. I beseech to thee, witch, grant me your power. That way I can form a new way of life for all those in this way, or in these walks of life, to find the true way."
the deal is done, and 2 licks of the ichor sweep out of the witch, one going deep into Soren's heart to grab the black flame, the other going deep into Tobor's whatever the equivalent for Warforged is, to start to transfer the power from Soren to Tobor. Okay, while this is going on, Dorian, what are you doing?
Here's the thing. I don't know. So betrayal is mostly used on a roll, right?
Yes.
I'm going to spend one point on Tobor for steal the narrative. And as the power is getting transferred, Dorian is going to take the locket from Soren and huck it and try and get it right between Tobor and the witch, and trying to make it like go into the locket and not Tobor, because they can deal with one, they can't deal with 2 people empowered by the witch.
Okay, so we're going to, Finn, unless you want to get involved, we're going to have to draw up sides and roll to see what exactly happens here. So go, what are you doing?
Because I got points with Tobor, so I can use that one.
Okay, so you yeah.
Finn, as this starts to happen, it wants to try and I'm trying not to narrate it until we do the rolls.
Yes.
Getting better about that. He's gonna try and sever that connection
between the witch and
least,
Tobor.
Yep.
Okay.
I would say Soren, but because I'm using it with Tobor, I feel like I have to do it with Tobor.
Okay, so let me recap to see if I understand the situation as it is, and then we'll drop sides. I believe that the witch wants to transfer the black dragon flame from Soren to Tobor. Tobor also wants to do that. Soren also wants to do that. Yes? Or Soren doesn't care where it goes. Soren just wants it out of him. So it could end up anywhere.
Soren was kind of hoping for the witch.
Soren was hoping for the witch. Okay, so Soren
Yeah, so this is kind of like I'll dump all points.
Okay.
If I have to
keep it from Tobor.
Betray.
Okay,
and go that route. But I like where that narrative went.
Okay, yeah, okay. But these are the goals, right? Soren wants the black flame to go to the witch. Tobor wants the black flame to go to him from the witch.
Yes.
The witch is now invested in transferring it from Soren to Tobor. So I guess the witch and Tobor are on the same side here. Finnegan wants to stop the black flame from getting to Tobor.
I actually want to alter that if I can.
You can alter that. Let me finish my right. And then Dorian wants to trap the black flame in the pendant. Okay, yes. Finn, what's the modification here?
So the modification, instead of interrupting the transfer, he's actually just going to go right for the witch, because the witch is now distracted.
Okay, stab the witch.
By doing this thing. Yep, stab the witch.
Stab the witch to death. Okay. Okay, so we got stab the witch. Okay, it seems like nobody's really on the same side.
Nope.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So here we go.
You wanted an easy session, right?
Yes. Okay. But the witch and Tobor might actually be on the same side. Tobor, you decide that.
To an extent.
Right? They're both trying to perform the same thing. Okay, let's do that. So Tobor and the witch will roll and take the highest, and then Tobor, we can decide who narrates it.
I'm gonna pump all 4 to betray Tobor.
Okay. So Tobor, you're at -4.
Okay. And
anyone else?
0.
Andy has a wound.
And he's got a wound.
And I have a wound, so that's actually -1 for me.
That's a 5 for me.
Oh my god, a 1.
I got a 2. Okay, let's recap. Which has a 2? Someone had a -1.
That was me.
Okay. So which is high now?
So it's a tie right now, actually, between the witch and
who?
Grimquest. It's between Dorian, because he's -1. The witch got 2, so that's 1.
So I got a 5 over you guys. So 4 over you guys, right?
Yep.
Yes, you have 4. I've got 2. Okay, so Soren is the high roller. You got a 3. Soren.
Yep.
you're the high roller. And you got. Who was the next highest? It was 2, right? So
I had
you're
a
up
3.
2. Huh?
Yep. 10 Rabbit Bears had a 3, so
3.
he got a
So you're up 1.
partial success.
You got a
That's a
partial
mixed,
success,
I believe.
Soren.
Yeah.
Partial
Are you up
success.
1 or up 2?
So it's 5 to 3, right? That's 2 difference. So wouldn't that be a
Well,
mixed success?
So, you were going after, you were rolling against
Oh, right,
the witch,
right.
not me.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So I think you get so if you're up 1, you get a partial success. I get a success and a half.
So
Right.
here's my question, just because we're all new to these mechanics, right?
Yes.
So, Tobor was adding his roll to the witch, right?
Yes. But
Tobor and
you
the
gave
witch
me.
rolled
Yeah.
and then chose
what
the
I'm-
highest of the 2. Keep the highest. You
Yeah.
can't add with the
Oh,
witch.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the witch
and
had a.
because
Yeah.
because you gave me the -4 of trust, I also had a wound, so that gave me a -5. I rolled a 4, giving me -1. Witch rolled a 2. We used 2.
Yeah, so our side had 2. And then 10
Thank you.
Rabbit Bears had 3. And
Mhm.
then Grim Beard had 4.
5.
Right?
Nope, I rolled a 6, so
Rolled a
I got a
6.
5.
You got a
'Cause I
you got
had
a
a wound.
5. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I had a
you're the high roller
Yes.
against 3, so you're up 2, mixed success.
Wait, how am I up? I
Because
should be
the second highest.
Well, because you were wanting to
'Cause
have
you-
the witch take the power away, so you're
Yeah.
rolling
Yes.
against the witch. So you
And
do
and
get
Yes.
Finn wanted to kill the witch, so you weren't on the same side.
So it goes against all the dice, not the specific target of,
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, all
so
the
I only
dice.
get a mixed
and that's why-
success.
Yes.
And that's why I was like, no, isn't it a mix? Because that's what I thought. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
doesn't it go to everybody?
Oh,
You figured
okay,
it out,
yep. So
yes.
I was adding Tobor's roll with the witch, which
Mm.
dropped it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought that Finnegan's roll and my roll
Was
independently went against the witch. Yeah. So I
Okay.
didn't realize that I beat
Yeah.
out your roll.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a
Right.
shame.
Well, it's you mixed success.
It's a
You
mix.
still get what you
yeah, it's a
want,
mixed.
but the witch
you can
gets
still get what you want.
and then
Yeah,
you
that's
take a
true.
wound. Someone else gets a little bit. You decide. Go for it.
So as my success, I'm gonna say that transfer worked.
Okay. So the
As
power
a-
is now in the witch.
Not completely.
Okay, go for
That
it.
mixed success is actually going the lion's share is going to go to the witch. Tobor and I are going to have a little bit that got that bled through that transfer.
Okay, narrate it out. How did it happen?
Okay, so those lines of black ichor kind of swirl out from the witch, and when they wrap around our cores, lock into almost like solid bars of energy that start drawing from me and pushing into Tobor. With Finn running in and trying to attack the witch, and that pendant flying down from Dorian's toss, temporarily breaking through the field of that beam of transfer. All of that sentimentalism, the years that I carried and poured grief into that pendant, resonated with that beam, and fires back this anti-charge that kind of blows back along those lines and interrupts the transfer to Tobor. But unfortunately, a lot of that power had been stripped from my own core. So that connection to Tobor was severed, which stopped the entire transfer. And we all kind of recoil from this sudden interruption, where we were all kind of standing steadfast, locked in this torrent of power.
Okay, so the witch now has the black flame, and he erupts in burning envelopment over him and the ichor that's coming out in the tendrils, and he begins to laugh. I feel so powerful. Soren, your debt is paid. The deal is done. And he turns to Tobor and says, I don't know if I can give this up.
It
He
is your
stares at you.
choice to do with what power you decide to have. However, I will not be stopped in my pursuit. And goes to try to pull the power away from the witch as much as he can.
Okay. I imagine them like locked, like hand to
Yeah,
hand, like
like
trying to
hands
suck.
on.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm gonna spend a point to stop Tobor from doing that.
All right.
How are you gonna stop him?
And so, as like I can see him starting to wield that familiarity with Black Flame, and
So if you want to stop him, he's gonna roll off, and you have 5 points to betray him with.
Hey, you could dump it all, man. I've been rolling like shit.
I'll spend 2.
You'll spend 2.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
See
I'll
ya.
spend
I'm-
2,
So I'm down 3 because I still have a wound. So
Yep.
mental
and
note
I'm down
3.
1.
So it's a roll off.
Ooh,
2.
mine's stuck, but I think it's a 3.
Mine's a 2, so that's a -1. So that's
That's a
what,
full
up,
success. Up 3.
that's- Yep, there you go.
So as he starts to like, as Tobor's hands start to basically engulf themselves in the Black Flame, and I see him starting to manipulate that aura, I will reach out, grab his hands, and kind of spin him off as before he can start that particular type of like vital manipulation, and get his full attention and say, "No, brother. Unleash the dragon inside." And I'll erupt with my own kind of dragon breath at the witch. And in that moment, that connection that we have, that's kind of like marble in the back of our minds that serves as a bond while we're sharing this power. You get the feeling, all the warnings that I gave you before about this power burning you from the inside. It's not a flat boost. It's a multiplier. The witch is more powerful than he's ever been. We need him to use the power and burn himself out with it.
Fair enough. During this little blip in space time, Tobor would understand the sincerity of what he says, and goes, "This is the way of all things. I understand. So it is written, so it shall be." And he goes to help out Soren with his action as well.
Okay. So you're rolling against the witch to make the power feed back into the witch and kill the witch.
Yes.
All
So-
right.
So my kind of lore behind that is the Black Flame. It's meant for dragons.
Mm.
Pride
Not
and
for
courage
witches.
and strength of the dragons we may have, but the body and the flesh we do not. So it should be burning the witch at a much more accelerated rate from the inside, but we just need to get him to use it up.
Okay. So we'll roll against the witch. You two. Any trust spending from anyone?
Yeah, Finnegan's gonna spend some with Tobor to assist because he doesn't have any with Soren.
And then I
And
will
right now, he's
put-
not sure how he feels.
Yeah, I will put 1 to Soren to aid as well.
Okay, you can only pair up.
Okay, so
Yeah, we can only do that.
Me and Soren are already paired up. Okay.
Yeah, we already got a pair. Okay.
So I'm just trying to
Finn plus
line it up for
Soren.
me.
And Tobor, you also roll.
Yep. Here we go.
Okay, which gets a 2. Tobor is that negative.
I'm just at a 1.
Yeah, you got a 1.
Right.
Oh yeah, just at a 1
That's
now.
a 3 from me, so that's
Oh,
a 4.
so I
And
got
a
a
5
2.
from me.
I got a 2.
Okay,
I get a
so
5.
7 versus 2. That's 5. You're up 5. Double success. This could be
Oh
it.
shit, they did it.
This could be it.
Oh. Andrew, you got the high roll on that. What do
Yeah.
you see, man?
Yeah.
You sure it's
I
your
let-
it's your flame?
So I left off with like an eruption of a black flame dragon's breath coming from my mouth. You saw like kind of like a grab, like a like a Tai Chi move where I kind of like spun Tobor off his balance, but then he stands firm next to me like a dragon should. But we are engaged. Tobor and I are 100% dedicated to putting all of everything that we can into this attack. So, what does Finnegan see?
Finnegan sees you kind of like sees the two of them kind of combine their power to kind of to get the witch to burn from inside, kind of using that link between the three of them. And while the three of them are locked in this burning flame-covered internal duel, he uses the blade that he has to propel himself up and take another little burst of energy down, and he starts just cutting away different parts of the witch's body to try and aid in the weakening his ability to maintain everything. He knows the sword's not going to do it. The black flame will, but if he can provide the break in his will to control it and contain it, the three of them can do it. Yeah. I think that's, yeah.
So the witch burns up from inside, and as he's riding, the ichor starts to recede from the building, but not from the sky, and a crush of bandits comes in through the door to the gangway. To see this scene, Dorian, the ashes of the witch's body, Tobor standing over him, and Finn stabbing into the ground still.
Finn looks up at Soren. Hope is a faint echo that guides us through the darkest of tunnels. And he sheathes the blade.
Tobor will stand over the ashes, but in lieu, after seeing all this happen, his black stains from where the black flame he used earlier are now like this bright gold, as a little bit of the flame that was given from Soren to Tobor has changed it to a golden, like a golden sheen over that. So all of the black char that was on him is actually golden now. And he looks over to Soren. He says, "You were right. The way of the dragon is the true way. I will continue this. I will continue these teachings in my travels. I hope that one day you may visit the monastery."
I'm no sage, Tobor. Love you.
I love too.
Adorable.
Aww.
Love
The
it.
kiss.
You guys
kiss.
can see me, right? Okay, yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Like really playing into the engagement aspect here.
Right? Shadows is
Wow.
already over here writing freaking fanfics, bro.
Yep.
He's like on the floor kissing the pendant.
I'm no sage to be learned from, Tobor. I have a lifetime of atrocities to atone for, and I may yet now have the time to do so.
The walk of atonement starts with only one step. You will find sanctuary in my monastery if you so choose to come and see us.
Thank you for that. And Soren will kind of like test out, and he'll try to produce the same level of like a black flame fist that he's been wielding since you guys met him, and he gets just a tiny little puff. It feels like it's been greatly reduced. Maybe manageable.
Finn looks out the window. Is Dorian still standing there, cowering there?
Dorian was in the window. He wasn't cowering at this point. He saw who got the kill on the witch. He was watching closely. Tobor was lusting for power. The once infernal almost Soren has been reduced in power, but the power of the witch went to the person who he believes will wield it correctly. So he's going to try and just go around the window and disappear because his job is done here. And the day is done. They can't achieve what they want to achieve. So he's backing away from the situation. If he can.
Fair enough.
Finnegan, despite the fact that he does not approve of Dorian's actions, is not going to pursue him.
Ooh.
Revenge is not his way.
And because he knows Finnegan can always hear him, as he leaves walking away, knowing that Tobor and Soren can't hear, but Finnegan can. He taps a couple times on the stone to get his attention and says, "Use it wisely, or we might just come back."
You keep what you kill. Sorry. Wrong universe.
No.
Wait,
Not
was that
that Dorian
Chronicles
can
of
see it,
Riddick?
but he knows. It was, yeah.
You are the only person I've ever met to quote that movie.
Oh, Chronicle of Riddick is great. As soon as he said it, I was like, yes.
Yep.
I always, it's so impractical, but I always loved those blades.
Yeah.
They're just cool. Anyway.
Okay, so does anyone want to narrate an epilogue for their character?
Yeah, I'll start. After the battle was consummated, the Tobor will with his boots will grab up a staff from one of the weapons racks, break off the tip of the spears, and use it as his walking cane, and will glide himself down the mountain and start walking his path into the west as he continues on his journey to actually before he does that, he will remember that he needs money to start to build his monastery, but in ways he believes that money seems to be another way of corrupting the pure-hearted. So he goes off and says, I shall create a mobile monastery. Monasteries, as functioning as they are as buildings, they are just buildings. The true way would be to walk the path of enlightenment, both figuratively and literally. And then he gives a respectful bow to Soren and Finn, even though Finnegan can't see him. He kind of like taps, kind of showing his image, and bows, and then leaps off and glides down the mountain and finds himself on a pathway and starts walking off into the fog.
Nice. Who would like to go next?
I like it.
I'd actually like to hear Dorian's epilogue.
Yeah, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
The bandits retreat. The day is ruined. They go down the mountain, walking. His master appears beside him, and the colorful, enigmatic, charismatic form of Dorian starts to fade away. That illusion you saw the first time when he was disgruntled, where his hair is just brown, not very colorful. The armor, the fabulous armor turns to just a plain leather. And his master speaks to him. Well, the next mission comes. This identity is ruined. Which one will be raised to the level of hero this time? I have to say, I'm quite in love with the name Sobor Sinfar. And they walk on to their next mission.
Nice.
All right, who's next?
Soren, kind of watching Tobor leave on his now flying boots that he didn't know that he could do. Kind of just looks around in the wake of this, as the fire and the ichor are like receding and light starts shining through a little bit for the first time, and the band of assailants have retreated. And he'll look at Finning and then go, well, and then he'll walk out. And he makes his way down the mountain, finds Steve just returning to Baywitch City with another missive from Gorba. No longer able to cauterize his own wounds with the black flame. It's just not burning hot enough to get through his shell. He spends 2 days kind of limping down the mountain with Steve's help. But when he returns to his retinue, to cheers of triumph from the band of the Black Flame, and he finds Gorba there, and they embrace each other, and she asks, "Is it done?" And he does that same trick, that little puff of black flame. He's like, "It's a start. I think it's as good as it's going to get for now." And he'll send Steve on a short run to the mayor of Asai and tell him whatever funds Soren would have accrued here, just send them, save it for the first time some mobile monastery rolls through town, and make a donation there.
Aww.
And the band of the Black Flame will retreat.
Nice. Finn.
Finn being the last one in the tower, alone once more, kind of thinks about where he wants to go next. And taking his... Actually, remind me, the payment was what it was from the mayor of Arsai, or something here?
From the
We
Duke
take
of
whatever
Asai.
here.
Yeah, from the Duke, yeah.
He begins to make his way back towards the Duke to get his payment so that he can put those funds back towards Jack, who raised him. And as he strolls down the mountain, idly kind of walking and fidgeting a little bit more than usual, the last image, so to speak, of him that we would see has just a little trail of black ichor running off of him.
So good.
Amazing.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
was all
Kudos
Grimquest.
around. Oh my.
RuneQuest gave me that idea. I'm like, oh, that would be really cool.
And how I
Next
love
villain.
this system so much.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was just so much fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you all liked it.
You.
I'm so
Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
me too.
Same. Oh,
I don't know what to do with my hands right now.
right.
I've been fidgeting with this coin. It's my inspiration coin for D&D, and I've been fidgeting with it like nonstop this
Yeah,
whole session.
had-
my pencil.
I had to turn up my noise cancellation so I could do this with my pen. Just
Yeah,
sitting here.
I'm lucky. I've got a little jeweler's with the spin cap on, so I've just been off screen, just like spinning this thing like so much. It's like, all right, how we doing this?
That's a
I
good
went
one.
push to talk because I just kept doing this the entire time. I was just like,
Right.
oh.
Well,
Huge
my
thank you to Eternal Shadows for handing out our fates and
Yes.
kind of operating
Yes.
behind the scenes
Yeah.
for us.
Yes, the only one who knew the fate.
All right.
speaking of, do we want to say what our last thoughts before confirming what they are?
Yes, that sounds like a good plan. You go first because you're speaking.
Sure. I believe that Dorian was past allegiance. I believe that Soren was desperately in love, and I believe Tobor was true motive.
I will say that I
And what do you guys-
wholeheartedly agree with those.
Sounds
Yeah.
all right.
Yep,
Dorian,
same.
you want to go next?
I have to agree with all of them as well. The only thing is, I'm still going to stick with worst fear on Finnegan.
Maybe the emphasis on being alone, maybe so many times, like that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought too. I was still under for Dorian, I was still under like the two between Past Allegiance and Unholy Pact. For him to actually be able to change his appearance and assume another identity, that seems like some Eldritch shit. But those are my two. But now that it's more narrowed, I agree with what TRB said. It's definitely Past Allegiances. For Soren, I believe his is more of Unholy Pact, like 100% Unholy Pact. Worst fear being a top second on that one, because again, like the locket, being afraid of like losing who he was, with the consumption of the Black Flame. For Finnegan, worst fear, 100% worst fear.
Dorian, I am torn between Past Allegiance and Revenge. Like, so Dorian and Finnegan, like Revenge is just like, it's just resonating between the two of you because like there's been that little something happening between the two of you since day one, and like this is that mind game thing. Not word, it's a word game that you play, Andrew.
Mhm.
Like, you know, when you say revenge is not my way, that could have been you saying like, meh, I know that was my fate, but I'm going to let it go in this moment. Or it could be you calling out his fate. Like, I think that line alone, and then Dorian saying like, you know what, I see who wields the power now. Use it well. Like, he could have been there. Yeah, maybe not there for the witch. He was there for you. But I kind of similar. Like, it's just using like aspects of the Past Allegiance to work. It's a wedge in the Revenge. Goddamn.
Because I'm sneaky enough to do
Yep.
stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And honestly, I think we all kind of did that. Like, we all did have our fate, but we also took elements of the other fates to describe like our true motives.
Right.
I only didn't go Revenge because he didn't blast Dorian out the window. I was waiting for it because I was right on Revenge. I was like, Finnegan is going to go Revenge and Dorian's going to get blasted out this window. He didn't do it. I was like, okay, it wasn't Revenge. I for sure thought he was going to blast me out the window.
And I'll admit, that's why I said that line.
Yep.
Because it was not revenge.
Yeah. So I do.
Also,
I mean,
he
at
is
this
also
point,
a neutral good character. So that's also the other reason why. Like, I'm trying to also
Yeah.
play to that
Yep.
a little bit.
The alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I kind of agree with Rebel's assessment that like worst fear does kind of, it plays into a lot of the things that Finnegan has said throughout the campaign. But again, still, even now, you're still the toughest to read, I think, for me.
Me too. I don't have a confident guess on yours. I am very confident it's Past Allegiance for Dorian, and then ulterior motive for Tobor, and desperately in love for Soren. But for you, I'm stumped. I think it could possibly be actually have been revenge. I was thinking this, and you just were like, you know what? I'm gonna go off script. I want revenge on the witch. He's the one who actually killed my parents.
So I did write that in after the fact, like yesterday or something. I was like, oh yeah, the witch definitely is the one who killed his parents. But
See,
again,
but it wasn't revenge, and
I'll confirm that one.
yeah. But it could, like, if I wasn't so sure about Tobor, it could have been true motive too. You wanted to take the witch's power.
Can we have 10 Rabbit Bears reveal last? Because
Yes.
we need he
Yes.
needs to reveal
Yes.
last.
Yes.
Yep.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
if you were a true
Okay.
motive, what was Tobor? I don't know.
So that's been part of the game for me, because I'm like, okay, well, if I'm pretty confident this person's this one, but if they're that one, then this person can't be that one.
Right.
So that means, okay, like that's been half the game on the side, and it's been super fun. I love the like meta game, literally.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, it's so fun. Okay, so who wants to reveal first?
I'll go first because everybody seems to know right away. Past allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I was looking at it and it just kept evolving over the game as Celeste kept giving us more and more stuff. It's like, am I going to be a part of the witch? Am I going to betray the party just for the witch and everything? I was like, no. I read it over and over and over. I was like, that's going way too to the script. Let's just put another thing in here of it. Because just going with the witch, I was like, that's just way too right off the cuff. It's like, I'm going to introduce another element that this is my past allegiance. And you gave us that.
That final tip off was the symbol with your friend. For me, at least, that was the final like nail in the coffin.
Yep.
Right? I'm so glad you grabbed onto that and just ran with it.
It was the symbol, and then the kind of like, seeing an acquaintance, like, what are you doing here? Go. I'll, that was, again, like I've been talking about red herrings all along. So like I haven't, since day one, I haven't wanted to commit to anything, but like that one kind of stood out.
Yeah.
Like the beacons were lit.
Mm. I'll go next on revealing mine then.
Nice.
It was true motive. So
I'm 2 for 2.
I actually, when I read it in a very fast pace, I didn't understand it. And the more that we played the game, I just literally just looked at it and I was just like, all right. Because even when you read the text for it, it states that, like, hang on, let me find it. You were one of the few who truly knows what lies ahead in the fortress. And my give was like, how do I know how to knock on the door and open the door? So I kind of let my hand open a little bit. But another thing that gets me is the fate of this fated character has no inherent interest in seeing the witch killed, or otherwise seeing the mission survive. So then it plays also into like revenge, right? It's so ambiguous.
Yeah.
The fate involves a simple like theft or may incorporate some greater conspiracy. The greater conspiracy in my head was actually like forming a new religion and like doing that. But then I was like, all right, it's lawful. Then I had to play into the alignment. It's lawful good. So that's where it's like I can use almost like the Dread Pirate Roberts, right? That I just like, oh, you know what? It could just be the tale of this.
Well, when you knocked on the door, I was thinking unholy pact.
Same.
Right.
So I have to ask now, does that mean that I have actually now in truth started another cult? If you're if you're following the path of the dragon now?
Technically.
No, it's a religious order. It's completely different.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Of itinerant preachers. Come on.
Exactly.
May the flame be with you.
Yeah. May the flame be with you.
See, they wear tabards, not cloaks. Completely different sections.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a reason why Steve is designed this way.
Right.
And the correct response, by the way, is and also with you.
Yeah.
And also
obviously.
With you. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Grimbeard.
So, yep, a couple of you guys nailed it. I was desperately in love. And I knew, like, from the beginning, like, I was agonizing over like how to do this, because I wrote this warlord, this thorn in the realm's side that's just it's existed, And I'm like, how is this character in love? And then my players rescued an NPC kind of unexpectedly in the big finale of The Price of Beauty. This golden dragonborn who had been prisoner of the hags for 7 years, and I'm like, that's it. That's it. That's what made him snap and go on this warpath for almost a decade. Like, he lost the love of his life. He was a great warrior before, but losing Gorba, the one person to best him in single combat, like, that's what caught his attention. Like, you know what? We can be friends. And that kind of blossomed from there. And then when she was set upon by the hags and taken prisoner, like, he lost her. The last thing that he had of her was this pendant, the one thing that hasn't melted yet, the one thing that he hasn't been able to destroy. It sticks with him and it reminds him of his grief for all this time. And then my players in Candlekeep managed to unexpectedly rescue this. The love of his life was returned to him, and he had burned through so much of his life searching for her, just with black flame, just burned himself from the inside. And he saw the opportunity to go to the witch and ask him for relief. Whether it killed the witch or not, he didn't care. He was just going to, because, like, again, neutral evil. So really is like, just take this power. What do I care? Take it. It just happened to be. Oh, go ahead.
I love how perfectly you meshed the worst fear and desperately in love.
Yeah, right.
Because at the same time, it's like your worst fear is that she's back and you've burned through so much of your life and you're just going to burn out until you can live with her, right? So it was just so perfectly meshed of you're afraid this flame is going to consume you. But at the same time, you're trying to get rid of this flame so you can extend your life with her. It was just like the perfect mesh of a red herring just going along the path until the very break at the end.
Thank you. I mean, you guys, it's not just, because like I had no idea how I was gonna do that until obviously like my players made certain choices in our campaign, and then when that started forming together, I had a rough path forward. But you guys also, the way that we played this out, and especially with you, like in the first night, speculating that I might be Unholy Pact or worst. Actually, Rebel, I think it was you that first suggested Worst Fear.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, you know what? I can take more elements from these and still use my fate to sculpt my character, but I can take elements and build upon that.
Yep.
Which again, like I said, like the first night or the second night, that we were all doing that. And that's what makes this so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And little did Soren know that Gorba was at a spa this whole time.
Right? She was just kicking back, like she was fine.
Yep.
She was fine.
Yep.
Wait, you were in trouble?
Sweeping a floor.
And it's funny because, like you said, my first two suspicions were Unholy Pact and Desperately in Love. Those were the two. It was the pendant that was like, okay, this is either a factor in his pact or it's a token from his lost love. And that was the two directions.
I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, Celeste, that bang threw me for a loop. I'm like, shit, I wasn't expecting to be involved here. What is it? I'm like, okay, let's go sentimentalism. Something that these guys would not expect from a surgical bulldozer.
No, it was very well done. I liked that.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that was it. Like the pendant for me, that's what drove home Worst Fear for me at the beginning, because it was like the sentimental wasn't the love thing. It was a reminder of what could happen when you lose the control. Like someone died, and this is a reminder that you need to always pull your punches, kind of type thing.
And that reasoning is actually still what, for me, just my interpretation of that exact reasoning was still why I was like, no, because it was somebody. If that was the case, it was someone he loved.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just kept going back to that. I'm like, nah, I have a feeling. I don't know what it is.
All right. I don't want to talk about it anymore because I really need to hear
the big reveal.
Yeah, I really got to hear it.
TRB.
So the other reason why I knew it wasn't Worst Fear is because I had Worst Fear.
Yes.
I had no idea sessions 1 and 2, and I just started to kind of like pull that out tonight, and that was like, that's how well you played that fate, because I didn't start picking up on it until tonight.
I'm so happy.
The girls were the first moment I could like play into. I was like, oh, she's alone in the woods by herself. He's gonna fixate on this because he sees himself in that. And so like that's why he wanted to take care of her. Then the sister, okay, well, she can't be alone. She now has her sister to take care of each other. And like they can't be alone in the woods. They have to get to their family. Like so he really latched onto that little like side story arc and just really tried to play that. And then with the tower being the last one alone in the room and starts fidgeting, and like that was my hint there. And he went
shit,
'cause
I
he
did
didn't
that
want to
to
be by
you.
himself. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
What,
I mean-
got it?
So he's
What-
like, everybody just left me here. Okay.
What
So, yeah.
pointed me out towards worst fear on the second one was I forget what it was exactly, but I was really listening to your words and I was like, okay, this might be it. But as soon as everybody split off to go to sleep and you approached Soren to sleep with him, I was like,
Revenge.
I think it's the word.
That
No,
was
I
another
thought
one.
it was a worst fear thing.
So I honestly, with the pass that I wrote for Soren, I was expecting somebody to have revenge, and it was going to be because I razed your village or destroyed your master's monastery.
I had that thought too.
And
Yeah, right.
and the thing is like you just kept dumping points into Soren. I'm like, and then like so admittedly, like I got into my own head when you just like, yeah, I trust Soren a little more. I trust Soren a little more, and I'm like, oh, he could just betray me at any time. And then it occurred to me, I was like, no, wait, he gave those to me. So those are my points to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, all right, maybe it isn't revenge. But I gotta say, like,
Right.
the fact that so I guess Grim, so your target all along was 10 Rabbit Bears. It was Finnegan, right? Or did you kind of like let that grow? Oh no, you had past allegiance.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
had
past
allegiance.
allegiance.
Nobody
never
had
mind.
revenge.
Nobody had revenge.
I was
that was
showing-
just he just didn't trust me, like
No, he
because
didn't.
like
All right.
because he was sneaky and I could always keep tabs on him. Like
Yeah.
it just was a character choice.
It was a past allegiance thing of like, I'm trying to make sure I can do what I need to do, and Finnegan is always in the way. I was actually trying to get Soren away from the rest of the group when we were going to go after the Fae, because I wanted to red herring you as revenge. Because I had the idea that you didn't know you did stuff to me, but I kind of had a weird idea that Soren may have done things, and I kind of tied that in when I did the reveal today. And I was
Yeah.
like, I just kind of want to red herring him a little bit that he's shady, he's doing stuff. Is he out to kill Soren? Like, because I always had that weird,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bolster you, I'm trying to make you like me type thing.
Which player to player I caught on day one. And I didn't want to metagame, so I was like a little bit, obviously, like at one point when you role played that, like, don't you know who this is? This is Soren. And, you know, like talking me up for no reason because you just met me. That's what kind of tipped Soren off a little bit. But player wise, I was expecting revenge from all of you, which is part of the reason why I had such a hard time reading you guys the first night. Because Soren's character, the story that I had written for Soren was perfect for revenge. And I see Shadow say that Wild had revenge, and I'm dead sure that he would have targeted me.
Oh, probably.
Oh
Dead
yeah, it's
sure.
easy to target.
Yeah.
I was gonna be surprised if I was wrong about Dorian and he had revenge and I was the target. Because for a couple times I was thinking that. I'm like, okay, I mean he's picking on me here. Like
Why you bully me?
right. Like and it also, by the way, bravo. It was fantastic. I loved every second of it. Just want to clarify that right now. But I was thinking, I was like, okay, story-wise, is it just because he can keep tabs, or is it because he has revenge and he's trying to intentionally mess with me? And I was trying to think, I'm like, how could he have done this? He's a neutral good, blind fox person. So I was trying to figure out if that was the case, what was the thing that caused revenge, like, to have to happen. I was really hoping, like, at a certain point I was hoping that's what it was, so I could hear what that story was.
So that's what I love about this system right now, right? With the fates, you have to. You're almost like, the best way to describe it is you have your fate, right? But you have all these other ones that are along. But what you're trying to do at the same time is you're following your path of your fate, but you're meshing with the other ones as you go to make sure it's not just a straight line. Everybody go, oh, that's your fate, right? Yeah. Like, everybody could read I had past allegiance if that, but I had to at the same time as we go along, be like, oh, is it this? Is it that? Is it this? So that's just us not
Mhm.
boring for the other players, and that's like, oh, that's the best
It
part
was
of this game.
It was the second one I chose for you, because at first I thought you were True Motive.
Yeah.
And then I was like, he might be past Allegiance. And then I so I had like my first suspicions, and then I just like put more stars next to the ones I was leaning towards for each one of you, and then like notes. And yeah,
One thing that I want to try to point out for the viewers, I think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, like when you started, you weren't really solidified on what your fate meant. And that as things started occurring during the game, it kind of came into more and more of a picture. And that, I don't know, that part of it helps the narrative that gets told mirror what occurs during a movie, where as you go on, you learn more and more about the character. Well, nobody could have info dumped at the beginning because the character didn't exist in full yet.
right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had mine pretty worked out. I just needed to find ways to show it.
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
say,
So
Isn't it now kind of obvious now that you know though?
Yeah.
yeah, it is. Yep. Exactly.
I
what you
knew
said.
that would be the case.
Yeah.
And like I said, like I when I first got my fate, I had no idea. I mean, I built a monster. How was I going to work in Desperately in Love? And then, like I said, you guys ended up clearing the Price of Beauty, and I'm like, I could tie this in. Like, I feel like this is perfect. And one, it'll be like a nice little Easter egg to you and Shadows who were in that session.
Mhm.
And where was I going with that? Yeah. So I said one. I forgot what two was going to be, but like, Oh, that was it. So like, I kind of once I had an idea of how Gorbo was going to be a thing, but at the same time, like sometimes you can want to work this in later, but where are all the
You're the
DMs
DM.
here? Yeah.
Right.
So, I was like, you know what? It was towards so it was after I had kind of hired Steve or added Steve to the sect, and then in the beginning of the second session I was like, you know what, I have an idea, like this might work. And then when I was able to use the golden contract with Tobor, I was like, explain to him, this power will burn you up from the inside. We're not like, you're not a dragon. I think I behave like a dragon, but like deep down Soren knows he's not a dragon, even though he's received that title, and that's kind of where I got the idea for that. I was like, you know what, that's how I can work in being in love in the end, like the conclusion. Like that's how I can tie that little bow on. And yeah, I mean, like, I didn't know where I was going with that, but you each had like a quarter of the building materials here, so bravo.
Well, I think
that's
exactly where you were going with this. Like we literally just like, hey, I have this idea. Oh, right, I can just make it happen for the most part.
Yep.
Which is very different from what I think most, if not all of us as players, are used to.
Yeah.
And what makes it the best, right, is because someone just trying to tell their story by them, like, this is my story as you go along. That's not the way to play this game, because one, people will figure out your fate right away, and your interaction with everybody and trying to figure out their fate is gone. The best part is trying to figure out everybody's fate as you're going on. You want to tie yourself to these other people because you hope that when you pull them into these narratives you're creating, that they will reveal a little bit of their fate.
Mm-hmm. My favorite part about the fates is that there's no benefit to guessing each other's fates. Like there's no winning. It's just it's a meta thing that's
it's just fun.
Yeah, that's it. It's just it's added suspense for people watching, which is, I mean, I've never seen the Mountain Witch stream before. Like obviously, like, this is totally new to me. So like I came into this blind, after, well, not blind, but after reading the source material. But
yeah, same.
Having this in a stream format, like it involves so much like speculation and intrigue, not just for the GM because you don't know what our fates are, all of the players because we don't know what our fates are, and then the viewers who are also spending that time trying to guess.
It's a
It's a-
good mystery, honestly. I love it.
The
Nikki Nerds Out
reward,
says
the
it's
payoff,
great stream content. Yeah.
the reward for guessing them, by the way, is not a reward for the person who gets it right. It's a reward for all the people who played it, so that it was just able to be figured out at the right time.
Yep.
That's the metagame. It is like, that's a good job, everybody.
And you feel like, yeah, you may have bested the BBG at the end of it, but you feel a bigger sense of accomplishment that you made it through the entire thing and you guessed everything correctly. And it's just that elation that you get from that. It is top tier.
And I want to
And we
thank
all lived.
Celeste.
Like in this case, we got double win here. Double
Yeah.
success.
Double success.
But the best part was Celeste ran it in 3 parts. What I loved was at the end of the night when we all did our what do you think the fate is? Because it was just so fun to be like, oh, either they're not catching on and you can kind of like readjust, or they are catching on. Let's back off a little bit and tie it in with it. So like, let's still follow the path, but let's do a little bit of subterfuge in the next session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so it was one of the nights. I think it was the first night, but it was more likely last night. I mean, I can't remember, but
Time is weird.
yeah, time is really weird. But like, when I said, like, it's a testament to all of you for playing your fates so well that none of us can pinpoint it yet. And now, obviously, now that it's been revealed, like, we can actually, like, we see the building blocks for everything, because like every single one of us played the fate, but we also took like little bits from each other, like the other fates, to make a foundation for like what we ended up like ultimately revealing at the end. And the fact that like day one, not one of us said, this is what you've got, I know 100% that's what you've got. That alone is just, it's a testament to the way that you guys get into your character and roleplay. Like your ability to just sprinkle, it's that little bit of sugar on the toast. Like it's just little sprinkles here and there. It's not like a full-on exposition. It was great.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, big props to Celeste for bringing
Absolutely.
this together. Let's
Thank
go.
you.
Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
Round of applause and a happy birthday, Celeste.
Thank
Yes,
you.
happy
Indeed. Happy birthday.
And thanks for
And
all
to
for
Celeste
being here.
for creating all those little hooks and seeds that we could all work off of as the story goes on, except for the ghost in the end. We just shot that thing down right away.
You did just shut that thing down. Like,
We're like, we
and
got
I don't know if
someplace
you
to be.
noticed this one, because like I had 3 locations prepared and the story just kind of like went in the wrong direction where this was supposed to show up. And by wrong direction, I mean like the totally right direction with the tornado and moving up to the mountain place that blew up. There was supposed to be stuff happening there. I don't know if you noticed, but I used the same Hero Forge model and just changed the clothes. She was supposed to show up a 3rd time, and this was supposed to be you being stalked by the winter spirit.
See, that was one of the things I was curious about, because her knowing Tobor's name and Soren's name, I was pretty convinced that was my big thing. Like, oh, Tobor has true motive, because if he knows these people, even from that, I was like, okay, well, she works for the witch, so if she knows who he is, it's gotta be like, that was one of the big tip-offs for me, even though I don't think you knew that at that time. So like, it was a complete coincidence.
Yeah,
but it worked out.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You just gotta throw suspicion on people, give reasons why people should suspect others, try to push them into conflict. I'm not surprised you didn't pick up on this like visual theme until like the 3rd one, because then it would be like, wait, this is just 2 doesn't form a pattern yet.
Well, so it's unfortunate that Wild Ride wasn't able. I mean, granted, like I'm 100% on board with everybody that we have, but like Wild Ride has also been like a great resource for me in my journey as a DM. And one of the very first things that he instilled in me is the rule of 3. Like, any one clue can eventually get your party to where they need to be, but with each clue, it makes it more and more certain. And if the 3rd time that NPC had shown up, like there you go. Like you're already following the rule of 3. Like by the
Right.
third time, we should have been 100% certain.
Right. But
So
it just
even
so
if we-
happened that someone was like, "I want an audience with the witch," and I'm like, I can't drop that one.
Yep.
Yeah. But like the Haunted Inn would have worked way better if you arrived there at night and you slept, and then the ghost just descended on you and started asking you for things, rather than me just throwing it out. Oh, you guys want to help with the ghosts? But it's
Well,
okay.
that's,
Like
that's
from
also partly why I was like, maybe Finn hears them. Maybe they're still around, but like we can't see them because they're incorporeal. But like he could hear their voices. That's why I just kind of joked with it. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna work, but
yeah,
I just
whatever.
love the scene of the ghost like descending on Dorian. They're like, your compatriots will betray you, and you're like, yeah. The ghost, aren't you worried about anything? How much time have you got? I mean,
Dorian's like, fuck off, spooky ghost.
like I'm gonna betray them. Who cares?
where is it? Where is it?
And that was the only time I rolled good enough to kill a player. I passed it up though. It was too soon.
But the thing is like, they're gonna betray you. That's cool. I'm gonna betray them. This is the whole reason I'm here. Like, why am I supposed to be upset right now?
Like, and they betray me, I betray them. It's really all the same, really.
But then they were like, you suck. He's like, yeah, I do suck. I'm just gonna go hide in the corner now.
Oh, what a fun night.
Sowing seeds of discourse? Nah. Personal attacks on your character? Man.
Well, and that was, I think, if I remember correctly, everybody got their fate after they created their character,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I
Except
painted
maybe
Dorian.
Tobor, I don't know.
I
See,
painted Dorian as a false person before I even got my fate. Like the whole story of the brigands and everything like that was 100% that was all set up, and he was made to be a hero for a reason and everything like that. I was like, I got it. I was like, oh my god, this fits way too perfect. So that's why, like with the illusions and him getting sad and sitting in the corner, he's not a real person. His whole life he's been whatever these people want him to be, or like whoever needs him to be. So it's just like when the ghosts are like, yeah, you're not, you suck. It's just like, yeah, I do. I'm not. Who am I? I'm just gonna go sit in the corner and be sad.
I love that story building though. Like, it's great because I had a similar thing. Like, I made this blind fox person with these abilities first, and then had the worst fear. I'm like, well, what would this blind orphaned child fear? He would fear being alone, and I was like, and being abandoned.
Yeah.
It's like, well, this works out really well. This is easy. It's an easier one to kind of put in because it really doesn't involve another party member. So
Yeah.
I think out of them, it is the easiest one.
Yeah, I think Rebel and I probably got the biggest challenges.
Yeah.
In our fates.
Very, very open-ended how you could go about it.
Yep.
'Cause
Which is
know
also, I mean, that it's another sign of this pact, this brotherhood that we forged.
right. Again, Shadows is just over there on the ground with a pen and paper, just writing an entire fanfic right now. You
Yep.
know, she
Or
is.
she's like "Mwahaha."
Well, more
Yeah.
probably both. Honestly, let's be real. Probably both.
And I mean, I have to be honest. Like, if anyone else, so like if we had like Nullfish or like anyone from another community choose our fates, and even if I got the same fate, I probably wouldn't have had the idea. But since it was Shadows, one of my players in the game, and one that was that's been so invested in like my campaign that I'm running and like the choices that you guys all make, that's really, I think that's what kind of tilted it, made it a little easier for me to like kind of like put that particular fate together.
Nice. I'm so glad you all had so much fun.
Thank you
You don't mind me
so much,
asking, what
Celeste.
other like sprinkles of the different bangs that I used did you guys really like?
So the second card that we came across, when like it was it always intended to be kind of like, or I can't remember if you described the similar weapons and armaments, or was that us that filled that in?
That
the
was
gap?
me.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that was
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that?
Yep.
hmm I was hesitant to like get involved with them, but I was like, but if they're those people, like we should. And I'm thinking like, well, he's a neutral good. Like I could really go either way here. But like he tried to like kind of go with what the party went, and when you gave the black flame to Torbor, I can't talk. And then he went up front. I'm like, all right, okay, we're doing it. Okay, he's good now. All right, he's got friends to help him if he's gonna pick this fight. So let's do it. Let's dive in.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that keeping the alignments in there is in some cases in all of our games that we've done, alignment is like such a weird thing to kind of base a character off of. But in here, it really makes you kind of stay on that line. Like there's a lot of things that I did that aren't in the lawful good way, right? But I can justify them as in I never broke any of my pacts as a monk when I had justification of why they did it, right?
Mhm.
So that's how you look at that from like lawful good. And it's so cool to see that, because you like in certain other like tabletop games where it's just like a like flavor text. It doesn't really pertain to how the character develops throughout a campaign. It's more of like a little bit of flavor. This really, if people are really into building a character narrative on alignment, that is this system is a way to do that.
Yeah, and the way that the book as written handles it is by using like Chinese zodiacs symbols, right? Where it describes your personality, and so it's like you're a tiger, and this is how tigers are, and tigers are allies with monkeys, but enemies with rats. I forget what they are, but yeah.
Right, something like that.
Yeah, and like it's very similar. And so like Grim, when you mentioned yesterday, like using things for like a Vampire the Masquerade kind of game, the clans work perfectly well for that too, I think.
Yep. That's I'm just like it's such a versatile system that I mean I don't know Vampire that well, but I know this from what we played, and I can see the potential for it to just like take out that base and just stick it under another system. It fits so well.
You just need a setting, honestly. That's it. Like if you want to do Vampire Masquerade as the setting, great. You want to do Aliens as the setting, great. Western,
Star Wars,
done.
Modern,
exactly.
It could be done anywhere.
It is. Yep. It is fluid, and that is the staple of a good system, is it can be used in anything. I'm already drumming up ideas for a quick one shot when I finish Avernus before I start my long homebrew. So
and the best part is you just have to write the bangs. Like that's it. Because like it starts the same. It has the same destination. You just have to write the bangs. You're like, you run into this.
Yeah.
If you give one of your players like a couple minutes of narrative, like, okay, yeah, you encountered this, and it doesn't even matter. Like, I know it's just me, kind of like a little bit of that like whimsical, maybe like a laissez-faire attitude. Like, it doesn't matter. You can throw anything at them, and they're gonna write around that.
Yeah,
it's your job just to get them up the mountain. That's it.
Right, and like because my turn. Because the rules are so like well defined, but like simple and stacked in the player's favor, you don't have to care. But you're fighting a horde of zombies. I could never roll higher than a 6, but you, as the party, you could roll a 12. Right? So like, I don't have like balancing. That's not even a concern.
My story brain throughout this, especially tonight, has been like still turning though. Like, cause now I'm like, all right, cool. So what's next? Is there another party that now, like down the line, does Finn become the new witch?
Finn becomes the new witch, yes.
Right. Like,
yep.
Like, and then the other half of my brain's going, oh, well, what if it's an alternate universe and it's the same party, but it's a different setting and different encounters, like with different fates, because it's an alternate universe. Like, so my brain's like going down like 50 different avenues right now because it's so open.
Well, it's the Dark Tower, and we didn't do enough good on this trip up the mountain. So when we restart, It's just like the last time.
It's
great.
It's so good.
And it would be different.
Yep.
Not every story is the same. Again, like a roguelike, no run is ever the same twice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love it. I'm hook, line, and sinker. I'm sold. Let's go. Let's
Same.
get another one in
Yeah,
sometime.
100%.
And I gotta tell you, like, Celeste, when you invited me to this, like, I'm like, and it's when you first started describing, like, oh, it's heavily inspired by like player narrative, like you're in charge of the story. I'm like, shit, like, can I do this? Because like the imposter syndrome got real for a minute.
Really? Aw.
And then, like, obviously the first night, you guys remember me posting that GIF in the Discord chat, like, we're all, the way that we describe the scene is like, look at that boulder, that's a nice boulder.
Right?
But then, like, we all like, we all got the wheels rolling, like, we all got like into it, and by the end of the first night, I think we all had like a pretty solid grasp on
Mhm.
how to do this.
Yeah.
And starting up last night, I felt real good about this. Like,
Yeah.
at the very least, like, one, like, I think we told an incredible story together, but two, it did wonders for my confidence in my ability to improvise and roleplay on the fly. And somebody made the point one of these nights that it would be a great system to kind of like tease out a little bit more role playing from a shy or reluctant player. I'm one of them. I think I at being a DM, like, I still, like, I can be kind of like a shy player sometimes. So like, it's a hell of a tool. Not just a system or a game. It's a hell of a tool for bringing more out of people, I think.
I've got two thoughts to kind of build off what you just said.
Mm.
One, oh my god, I just forgot that one. I'll go to the other one. Maybe it'll come back.
That's fine,
So-
because it's not just me then.
No, it happens.
I usually forget two, but bravo.
I
for
forgot the
forgetting
first one. Yeah. No, I was about to say it, and it just went out the other ear. I would love to do this game in another game. Now, when I say that, I mean, no, I don't want to me, myself, Andrew, play this game in another setting. Me, myself, Andrew, as, say, Syndrin, play this game in D&D at, like...
Oh.
All
do it
right.
as a
okay.
character playing a character, I think would be super cool and fun. A nice way to, like...
So you want a Tiny Tina's this then?
Sure,
Yeah,
I haven't played
that's-
that yet, but it's
No,
on
it's
my
the
list.
best
But you-
description.
But all right, so the lore. So Tiny Tina's was a DLC for Borderlands 2, where Tiny Tina played a tabletop RPG called Bunkers and Badasses. Tiny Tina's so that was Assault on Dragon Keep. That was the DLC, and the new game that just came out, Wonderlands, is a standalone title where it's just that. There's no Borderlands. It's just Tiny Tina as your GM running that game. So, per that lore, like, you're playing a looter shooter, but you're still playing like
Right.
kind of Bunkers and Badasses. So that's kind of what
Right.
you want to do. Is you want
Yeah,
okay.
it's like
Let's-
it's like yeah. It's
Let's
hard.
talk about that.
Boy,
We'll
you
talk
chat.
about that.
That'd be a
Yep.
great beach episode for a couple sessions.
Mm.
Man, if we weren't so focused on arm wrestling that beach episode, then we could have done this.
I know.
Yep.
Oh, I remember my other thing. So this is I knew it would come back. And I had a similar when this was brought up initially, I kind of had a similar feel. Like, I was like, I know there was a time I was like not worried about my improv at all, but my time as a DM is not as consistent as it used to be. So I'm like, I'm like feeling rusty. Like, I don't know if I will be able to measure up. And I was actually putting myself, I've seen most of your streams. Like, I knew at least enough about each one of you, particularly Grim. And I was like, I don't know that I can compare to any of these people right now. But I was like, okay, cool. Now I'll tap back into my con days, because that's what I do. is I just pretend that I know it. I always imitated my old DM or when I was running in a con, because I used to run for years. I ran D&D games at cons, but it was all improv. There was no story. It was gladiatorial combat, but I had to describe anything and everything that players wanted to do at any given moment. And I had 30 plus players. I'm not exaggerating. That was so much work. Those rounds took so long. So like I just kind of tapped into that, and then you guys made it so easy to play off of each other, and it felt good to get back into that. It's like real improv kind of.
Well, Celeste, what's your thoughts on how this whole thing transpired?
Oh, I mean, I'm very happy about it. Like, this is one of my favorite role-playing games. So that's why I picked it. Also because the prep for this kind of game is much lower than Dungeons and Dragons, and I felt like I could pull it off without having to live up to the amazing standards of all of you here with your Tailspire amazingness and so forth. So,
That's a curse. Don't even get started.
True. But also, there's, I had my own true motive, which was that, like, I love this game and I feel there's a little bit of a magic here. People love Dungeons and Dragons. I also love Dungeons and Dragons. But Dungeons and Dragons is not an RPG for everything, as much as everybody wants to pretend that it is. And one of those places where I think it falls down is exactly the things that you brought up. Like Rebel was talking about alignment. You write it down and you forget about it. It doesn't matter. And also like being able to affect the narrative. When you get pitched Dungeons and Dragons at first, like, you could be whatever you want. It's collaborative storytelling, when, it's more somewhere between a board game and a, Navy simulation, right? It's still fun, still really exciting, but I'm not making up the story. I'm reacting to the story. And in this case, and it's more human-esque, but in this case, like, I feel like all four of you got to have a magical experience. I had a magical experience when I played this game, and I wanted to share it with you.
I'm so appreciative of that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And like going off of what Celeste and Ten Rabbit Bears say, all of you, everyone here, I have to thank you for just being awesome and having such a great time. If it wasn't for each and every one of you, like, I don't think this would have been as great as it was, because everybody was just here to have fun. And thank you for inviting me. As soon as Grim posted, I was like, narrative game, please, hello, hi. So thank you all. I had a fantastic time, and I'm just so happy I got to actually interact with all of you on like this personal level. And I fantastic. I had a wonderful time, and I'm just so appreciative to be here with everybody.
There's another nugget that I really like about this game that I want to talk about. It's that we just experienced a style of play that would be very toxic to a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. Putting players at each other's throats always goes awry, no matter how much you try to put some rules around it and how much you try to, shepherd it along. But this game, because of the way that it is structured, it makes that work.
And actually, you just touched on exactly one of the things I wanted to bring up. I don't think I've said enough how awesome I liked GrimQuest's betrayals.
Yeah.
Like, as a player and a DM, they were so well done. And to your point, betrayals in a lot of RPGs are hard because it gets toxic and players take them way too seriously, or it just blows up in your face. And in this setting, it caters really well to it, but also I think like a really, really big hat needs to be tipped to your playing of that, because it was well done and it was appropriate. Like, none of it felt like you were just picking on players to pick on players. Like, it was all intentional, and that's like the best way to do it.
Yeah, but also the mechanics of the game lean into it, right? Part of what could make the like betrayal narrative work is consent, and the rules ensure that consent occurs. You've given this trust willingly to that other player, knowing that they could do this. And if they betray you and it feels bad, within an hour you can bring their trust down to 0 from you, and then they can't betray you anymore.
Right.
You roleplayed a character that was easy to mistrust or dislike, not because of the way that you were playing them, but because of the way that the character was played. The way, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like oh god, he's doing this. No, it's exactly as you intended. Like that was it's such a fine line to walk sometimes. Like when you want to make a character that is supposed to be on the opposite side of that coin.
I wanted a character that impeded the party and got everybody to just double think everything, but doesn't stop anybody's narrative. Like I want everybody to come along the ride with me. Like I really enjoyed how I got the success and a half with Finnegan when I kicked the coin. It's like I want to include Finnegan in this because this is half of the fun of the game.
Mm-hmm.
He's untrustworthy, everything like that, but I don't want to shut everybody off. I want everybody to be a part of the betrayals and everything like that.
Yeah,
it's just like
very well done.
The way that I've been describing this to people, like I'm at work, I'm like, let me tell you about this thing that I'm doing. That everyone's like, yeah, okay, whatever. But like I've been super into it for not just 3 days. Like it's been like leading up to it, but like the past 3 days have been intense. And the way that I've been describing, like betrayal is kind of like the name of the game. Like we all have something that puts us at odds with the mission itself, with the party, and the moment that I decided, like I was ready, because like I still have 4 points of trust with Finnegan and 3 with Tobor. I was ready to burn them all to betray everyone and just give all of the power to the witch. And if no one stopped me, I would have bowed out. I would have said, yep, so be it. All right, that's it. Deuces. And I just would have just stepped off and just kind of like casually observed, but like I would have had like gone back down the mountain to live out my days with Gorba, because I mean, still neutral evil.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, there's a little bit of the honor of the dragon there, but like really, I've got the power to do what I want, so I do what I want. That's a hard mentality to give up.
Yeah, and doing nothing can be what you want.
I kind of channeled that a little bit. I kind of channeled that a little bit with at the end where I was like, well, just leave.
Yep, I'm done.
And Finn would have let you walk out, because I was picking up on that. I was waiting for you to do that. If there was no way to interrupt or mess with that narrative, that's what was going to happen. And he would have been like, all right.
And I'm pretty sure when you guys started interjecting in that moment, I'm pretty sure I still had all of those points to stop the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, like, when everyone steps up and says, all right, I want to betray, or I want to prevent this, and this is how I see this playing out. Like, it's not just stealing the narrative, but it's also kind of selling the idea a little bit. So like, yeah, I had an idea of how that scene wanted to play out, but like, granted, in myself, I'm like, what, I don't want to run the show, but this is how I'm setting up the scene. So if I'm thrilled that you guys jumped in, because again, we're trying not to have that main character syndrome. So the fact that you guys all stepped up and you were like, no, I'm gonna steal the narrative. No, I'm gonna steal the narrative.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah, there was like a train.
And then ultimately it came back to me anyway, and I was like, you know what? No. I started putting this sandwich together, but you guys brought the spicy mayo and all the good stuff. So
I will say that the only thing that I think people can get lost, especially new, even at some point, we kind of got lost at the final end of like who was doing what. But going over and saying, oh, okay, well, these singles and are rolling against that. I think as long as there's an explanation of what's going on and then you recap it real quick, then you can roll. That's where it's like we're not all just like throwing dice randomly. And
yeah, there was a couple points I got confused when we did that.
And that's fine. That's inherently going to be happening since we're learning a system.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm just glad that we had a very good rodeo master here keeping us in line.
Thank you. But it only happened like twice, right?
Yeah.
We kept it really good and like that final scene, I couldn't have come up, like that final scene could not have happened during a Dungeons and Dragons normal style campaign. Like,
Nope.
I couldn't just put that together. Like, literally all I came up with was the idea the witch is gonna have this black ichor and it can do stuff. That was all I came up with. Plopped it down in there, and as you guys started interacting, it developed, and we had like
Uh-oh.
dragon magic, like transferring from one person to another. It was throwing that pendant in the middle to interrupt, and someone stabbing the witch at the same time. Oh my god!
Now, can you actually talk to that a little bit? Like, when you're putting this together, what goes into making your witch, if anything?
Sure. So what I did was I first drew that map. I'm like, okay, we have to start. The story says the Lord Asai hires you to go climb the mountain to kill the witch. So I was like, well, I wanted it to be Dungeons and Dragons. He's going to be a duke and he's going to have a duchy. So he's got a city over here. And I drew out the little map, and I'm like, oh, I want them to stop at a village because I want to have a village on fire. And that's going to be an interesting call to action. So I put the village down, called it Baywitch, and then I was going to have like someone like gathering firewood in the woods, and then you'd catch them on the road and bandits would be harassing them. So I drew woods. I never ended up using that one, but so then I put the woods around it, and I'm like, wow, I'll put some locations. Won't fill in the names so that people can key off of that if they want, but I came up with stuff. Like, one was the guard tower, the other was a temple to the shadow god, because they called it the Mountain of Shadows, and then the witch in the fortress. Like, that's, as I tried to undefine the witch's area as much as possible, because it needed to play off to really pay off narratively what happened before it.
You made a road, and then you made all pit
it.
stops.
Yeah.
Yep, and then we made the scenery around the road.
Yeah, and the other one I made was the tavern with the barmaid and the ghosts to interact with, and then I had a huge list of possible things that you could encounter. We didn't get to all of them, but that's the point. Like, I picked the ones out of there that kind of fit in with what was happening, so that you could make things occur, like the Fae. I'm not sure. I don't remember how I got to the Fae. The missing child. That was one of the things. Like, there's a missing child. You come across a missing child on the road. That's all that I wrote down. And so when we got there, I was like, why is the child missing? Oh, the woods. I didn't use the woods yet. The older sister got taken into the woods by Fae creatures. Let's go look for them. And then you came up with the idea of the alternate path. So I dropped the weapons cart on the path. That was one of my things. There's a cart full of weapons going up the mountain. And it was in the moment that I was like, okay, these are going to be the same weapons as the bandits. I gave the bandits spears to make it interesting. Like, they weren't just regular bandits. They were empowered a little bit by the witch. And as you got closer and closer to the witch's magic and power and reach got greater and greater. So I went from bandits with spears to winter snow spirits and ogres.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, one thing that I really like about the encounters here is that, like, it's not just roll initiative and then trade blows until somebody goes down. It's like, at any point, you could. It's so dynamic and fast. Like, it's really, really fast paced, because, like, I think just kind of living up to it a little bit, like some of the key like combat encounters, Soren just rolled high, and you're like, you can kill them, and part of me is like, of course I can. So I just like,
of course I can. I'm Soren.
Yeah. So I was, I had, it's not very often that I usually like to play like bards and more subtle characters. So it was really fun to just
let loose.
Yeah. And a little bit more than I got to do with what was that idiot savant? Oda Revelis.
Yep.
So I played a barbarian in White Plume Mountain, a one shot that 10 Rabbit Bears ran. And I got
what do they smell like? It's my favorite line, he said.
So we're talking to this wizard who's like putting us on this quest, and he's like, you have to find these 3 legendary weapons within White Plume Mountain. And he's like, and he goes, they are sentient, of course. And my idiot savant barbarian steps up and goes, well, what did they smell like then? It took about 10 seconds. And then everyone was like, would you shut up for a minute? And
well,
then
he said they're sentient.
yeah, and I think what really solidified that though is at the top of the hill where he's leading us to the portal to transport us into White Plume, and you said the air smells of whatever. Like you specifically said the air smells like of fresh leaves and cut grass, and I grab Mr. Frumples and I'm like, do you smell that? It's very sentient up here. And that is
a great callback.
That is what solidified that character. But still, I still had a little bit of like tact. Even playing a barbarian, like I still had like a little bit of like of more wherewithal when it came to like situational awareness. Soren was such an opportunity to just burninate. Like
the Burninator.
yeah, and it was yep, you guys let me go on a wild tangent. I have no idea where I was going with that.
You were enjoying playing the I'm a Wreck-It guy.
Yeah, and how fast it was.
So the combat encounter. So like at
Yeah.
any point in time, I could get a double success, or even just a success and a half, which is enough to like kill like the lesser, some of the lesser encounters. And every time I rolled that, and Celeste is like, "You can just kill them." Yep, I'm gonna do that. Except the first one where I'm just like breaking it, like bending his arms back so his wrists break, and I'm like, "Tell your friends." Like, God, it was just I love the encounters in this because it's like again, it's not just trading blows until somebody goes down.
Yeah,
It's watching a movie.
It can be anything.
Yeah,
Right.
It could even be a boat.
I as soon as I said it.
I usually always play like the clericy, helpy type person. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go full blown madman, like just full blown. And then when I got my fate, I was like, oh, I'm just gonna lean into it 3 times harder than I originally was going to.
I will say a big hats off to Dorian. Honestly, the one-liners like, I will have you know I am a coward, and just takes
Twice.
off.
Twice.
Is
Yep.
perfect time. The amount of like role playing that you did solidified. Chef's kiss, friend. Said
I
You
want to
guys made your
say
characters so believable.
he did.
the thing I was happiest about, the thing that just made me so overly happy, was when the final fight happened. Dorian had no trust for anybody to do anything. He did all of his groundwork the entire campaign, but when it came to the final scene, he had no power. I was like, this is just a perfect end to Dorian as the character. I was like, I'm just so happy I get to watch and see how this resolves.
I like just Dorian present.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was here.
Like,
Make sure you tell people.
And like
That's it.
I was kind of, yeah. He'd be like, I was there. I did it. You see?
Yep.
He was definitely like the arcane trickster. Like that was like kind of the vibe I got.
Mhm.
And I was here for it from the very start. I was like, this is gonna be great. I don't even care that he's suspicious.
Can I add to the lore, Celeste, for the next time you run this?
Yeah.
Dorian needs to be an encounter that pops up twice, claiming to have killed the witch, and also claiming to be the one that instilled the witch in its seat of power.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because yes, like Dorian was there for both, but like that reputation, I feel like Dorian's reputation needs to diverge, and just to have all these like mixed rumors, and have like NPCs that are like, yeah, but didn't you just say you killed the witch, right? Like, what do you mean you gave the witch its power? Well, you killed the witch. And then just like, well, yeah,
I did one and then the other.
Yeah,
This is a different
Like,
witch.
conflicting legends that spread throughout the realms.
Yes, Celeste says, well, she got better.
Yeah, right. Just was a stretch.
You'll make more blood. You just need some orange juice.
Yeah, that's how witches work, right? She turned me into a newt. I got better.
Yeah, but
Churches.
if you guys like this game, I've got a whole other list of let's say, maybe not offbeat, but like lesser known
Off-brand.
RPGs. Yeah, off-brand. There we go. That's the word.
Right.
That are very narrative driven and all have their own different quirks and all tell like different specific stories.
Shut
And
up
also-
and take my money.
Also,
Yep.
if you liked the way the game looked with our dice, because when we were rolling natural sixes on our d6s and you saw our faces, you could use this application. You know, we may never heard of it over the time we've been playing, but there's this app called 3D Dice, where all of us had custom dice that we could roll during the game, and it was really fun, especially if you're going to be playing this one when you're aiding your friends. You can use their face dice to assist them to help with that. Or when you're just being a greedy little shit, like Dorian, you can just roll a Dorian dice. And you can find all these amazing things at 3D Dice. And just really liven up your game and give it the most personal feel that you can. And really just roll what your character would roll with the dice that best inspire them. No need for all these clunky dice that you have on your shelf. Looking at you, 10 Rabbit Bear in the corner.
Listen,
You-
don't judge the dice jars
You
that,
could
that don't
have-
look very big, but they are very big.
You can have a virtual dice jar with as many dice as you could dream of.
What I like about this too is like, haha, it was a 12-hour advertisement the whole time.
Well, maybe only 50%. But
I can't thank you enough for inviting me to join here, and it's been an absolute pleasure to play this game. And I heard that coming in, but it's been an absolute pleasure to
one
play
of
this
them.
with you, and it's a really good opportunity for all of us to kind of help, but also like Celeste to like show off the tool and everything that it can do.
Yeah, and I had a great time, and this is a wonderful way to spend my birthday.
Yeah.
Finding people who are this engaged with role-playing games can be hard, and you guys are amazing. Before we leave the dice, I want to point out, if you do want to get the dice with all these wonderful characters' faces on them, you got to type the commands in the chat, because I do not let them be added to your box from the site, only from the shared links that you can get here. So they're done, you can never get them again.
So this is your last chance.
Last chance, yeah.
It feels like just-
nicely.
The names that you see, so exclamation point, so Bang Dorian, Bang Tobor, Bang Soren, Bang. Is it Finn or Finnegan?
Finn.
Yeah,
It's
I think
just
it's Finn.
Finn. All right.
And
But
Bang
you really
Witch.
should pick them up, because when you want to go on a raging rampage, Soren's the way to go. When you want to confuse everybody, Finnegan. And when you're just the shit, Dorian.
Oh no, it didn't work.
And if you're being peaceful and calm, then you have Tobor.
Exactly.
Tobor's not working.
Tobor doesn't have any dice because he's been super busy and hasn't made his own dice. So,
No, I made dice for
Yeah,
everyone's
Celeste
face.
made some.
Yeah.
well then, that's good. Not my fault.
Uh-oh.
Ah, yes, this one was not me.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. Tobor's does a whisper. I forgot about that. Tobor's does a whisper.
whisper.
Ah, okay. There we
Okay,
go.
I fixed it.
Otherwise, I would have said Tobor the calm.
No, he's Tobor the discreet. That's why he's whispering to you.
There you go.
I noticed that last night, but it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was pulling Steve prints off my printer.
There you go. There's Finn.
Nice.
Whenever you say Steve Grimm, all I can imagine is from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Steve!
I kind of, you know what? I kind of let everyone involved imagine how they perceive Steve. This is not something that I've ever really anticipated taking off, but it sure as hell did. And it all came about. So I recently opened up our behind the scenes chatter to subscribers, so you can actually see the moment Steve came into being, because one of my other players, Procrastinator, walked into a tavern where Borash was kind of annoying the barkeep. Poe forgot whose name was who, and she walks in and said, I put my arm around Steve and I said, what are we having? What are we drinking? And I'm like, Steve just gives you a stone cold stare. So from that moment, Steve became a personality. It was just this obelisk that Borash had stolen from the forest. And it became this thing. I really don't. That's the most
Well-
explanation I have for it.
Welcome to being a DM.
Yep.
Your players found a toy.
Yep.
But it's not just the players though, because like you guys did that live, so there was 30 minutes of rock puns,
Mm-hmm.
and then Steve became more and more of a personality, and now we have T-shirts, and we have these phone holders.
And we got this
Like,
the steeple.
I forgot to use that die when you were fighting the witch.
Oh, the witch
Aw,
die.
man.
Yeah.
Let's redo it.
Let's redo it. Start with the beginning.
Retcon's the name of the game.
Yeah.
To just like there was one other thing I wanted to say about like the system in different settings and stuff.
Yeah.
So Grim, you remember I was talking about doing a Ruby game?
Yeah.
I feel like this would do really well for that.
Oh my
Like
god.
really
yes.
well for that.
And
I was gonna use Mutants and Masterminds because it's also very open, but it's more mechanical. And I've done it in Mutants and Masterminds before. But this,
Night, Nikki.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
night,
so
Nikki.
this-
Thanks
Good
for
night.
coming.
This completely neutralizes that worry that you had, but like with having students and teachers interacting in an
Mhm.
encounter.
Yep.
Yep.
and also because Ruby is more of a rule of cool game to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I liked about Mutants and Masterminds. You can kind of do things on the fly. You have points you can play with. You can create whatever you want, so you can still do that really cool. But the hard part was coming up with aura for that, and then like there's still a lot more mechanics going on. This system just really takes all the pressure off.
Yep.
And now I would be like, yeah, I could just run this whenever with this system because I already have the story written. So like now I just can kind of take out some of the in between bits, keep the main points, and that's that.
Yep. So Celeste, you mentioned like running other games. Like,
Yeah.
keep me in the loop if you want to run another system, but please
No.
run this again
Okay.
and pick more people.
Oh yeah.
Because
not
like
you. Not you.
yes, I mean
Yeah.
like I would love to do it again. Don't get me wrong. I would love to make another character, roll it right up, and just run through again. Because like it's Rebel. You said it's like a roguelike. It's different every time. Like I would love to run it again, but I would really love to be on the spectator side.
Oh, for certain.
Mm,
Yeah, I would love
okay.
to see you run another group through this because we were watching each other play and that was fun, but watching an entire group interact, it's just like that would be chef kiss.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put it on my to-do list. We can all chat about it afterwards. But like,
Yeah, I mean, you get nothing busy going on, right? You're not like
Oh, yeah,
running
no, I don't-
making a thing. Or, yeah,
I'm not just having a day job and building an app and
right.
being a mom and doing this and
Right. Plenty of time.
being in a motorcycle club. I don't know.
That one I did
Ooh,
not
I didn't
know.
know
I think
you-
that's
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know because I ride too.
Oh,
didn't know you
we'll
were-
talk about it after.
There you go.
All right.
I
Yeah.
don't, but want to.
Oh, well, you better
Do you
take
wanna
your
buy my
MSF
bike?
course.
have no
MSF
money.
course. I can't say enough
right, fair.
about it.
Yeah,
Right.
take the rider safety course because one's going to teach you a lot of defensive riding
Yeah.
tactics. Two, it's going to lower your insurance in Massachusetts, and three, it makes it a lot easier to get your Class M endorsement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know about Massachusetts
Yeah,
and New York.
I want to take the course.
You showed up to the course. You passed the test at the end of the course. There's a practical test and a written test. You just show up to the DMV and you get the license.
Same. I did.
Yeah.
So I did that in Arizona, and it copied over to when I moved states. Arizona was stupid easy. I showed up on my own bike, and the guy's like, "Yeah, you know what you're doing. Dodge these cones as I throw them at you." And I was like, "All right, cool." And like I passed the test.
If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
That's no, I'm in. So like he says, accelerate to 30 miles an hour, and I'm gonna toss a cone at you. And I'm like, okay, like that's it. He throws a cone out, and then you have to literally like at 30 miles an hour just dodge the cone. And he's like, yeah, you're probably fine. And then that was a
I love
test.
it.
I had to do
I
like a
love it.
figure 8, and that was hard.
My driving test for like a car, I backed into a parking space, but the guy played head games. So like when he gets in, he's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, could you put your belt on, please? And he goes, yeah, I've got it. I've got my belt. I got my it's got my notepad here. I got my wallet. And I'm like, no. Please, your seatbelt, please. That was like the whole time was head games, but he only made me back into a parking space. So I maybe all right. So potentially, I don't really deserve to be able to drive, but because I've gotten it very easy on all my tests.
In either vehicle.
But
Mine opened with. Sorry, you finish.
I was gonna say, just to date, I have never caused an accident. I've never been in an accident while I've been driving, but in control of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're like way off topic for role-playing games.
That's true.
Now.
Yeah, sorry.
So I think it's time to wrap up. It's almost midnight. This has been a wonderful experience. Clearly, I'm going to be running this system again by popular demand. Hopefully, in the future, I will run some other systems that are on my to-do list. One of them might be Mouse Guard for like the Goblin Tuesday rotation of DMs thing that they're doing. And because I have another secret goal, and that secret goal is making it to affiliate so that I can unlock channel points, so that I can finally answer everybody's feature request to have some sort of channel points integration with the dice. I'm going to be streaming Baldur's Gate 3 just like everybody else tomorrow and probably the next day because I got to get to 7 days. So it's been wonderful. Thank you all. Check out 3D Dice, and we will see you again.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy birthday.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Happy birthday and thank you.
Oh, we need to pick a raid target.
Oh, let's do that.
I only have like a couple people live right now.
Sparkles Mandy is playing D&D.
Okay.
Let me see. Oh, there's 3D Dice. That Baldur's Gate. Cow Says Boom is live.
Oh,
Ooh,
two castles.
Cow is
Boom.
Yeah.
All right.
Such a sweet girl.
Yep.
It's spelled like you would expect. Yeah, I'm bad at
Exactly.
spelling.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. See you all over at Cow Says Boom.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go,
Bam.
as Jim says.
Oh,
All right.
magic
Bye.
on the windmill. Night all.